timing
Who's
music?
that?
Alright, we're
We had
live.
7 Tom Waits fans yesterday.
We should be live. We live!
Well, we live.
But I'm not gonna say hey to anyone.
Alright.
For now. Because I'm still typing.
Yeah, we're figuring out the technical
Posts.
Toast.
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 Coast to coast.
Toast.
Oh, what the fuck is happening?
Toast.
Toast. Toast. Toast. Toast.
Do you guys want toast?
Toast.
Mission
Toast.
Impossible.
Is Adam's pitch about toast? What's...
Hold on.
Writers' rooms.
Writers' rooms suck. Don't come to them.
Writers' rooms.
Hey, don't... It's live now, motherfucker.
Oops.
Oh,
Toast.
I mean, they're. Oops. Toast.
You like
Oh, that laugh's gonna be great for the stream.
I.
Everyone go home.
Did we do this correctly? I don't. Yeah, probably.
Do what?
I don't know. I'm gonna report us.
What? For what?
I don't know. It just gave me the option.
Oh, okay.
Who left the
Why
toast?
can't we? Have you guys considered just streaming your cats or your various animals
I don't have a
and
various
make
animal.
like millions of dollars on the YouTube?
Yeah, I was hoping that they'll be in frame.
Ah,
Yeah, well, you could. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I've considered just finding where my cat sleeps and just putting a camera there and then just collecting
Oops.
all that sweet money.
Oh
Is this
no.
on One Up Some Shit?
huh?
Is what?
It's not on Twitch.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
Did we have the link up?
On YouTube, you
Tweeting?
fool.
I'm trying to tweet this link,
You
bro.
simple
Oh, yeah.
fool.
I'm trying to tweet this
I'm gonna
delicious
do a-
link.
That's yours, yes?
Yes, that's mine.
That's mine.
Yeah.
I
We figured it out.
am
I'm uncomfortable. You put the
Iron
finger on
Man.
mine.
Trying to stream
down at
on
the
my
barbecue with the
webcam.
glass.
Yes.
Down at the.
That's the best part of the glass.
Yeah.
Copy. Uh-oh, 4.5 messages per minute.
What the fuck?
What? How could you have an opinion already?
We're gonna get
Did
started.
you tweet it? You tweeted it.
And now it's tweeted. The tweet is twat. The tweet is on. The tweet is on.
Alright.
Okay, so as I said, I'll ask other people to be aware of the comments. And feel free to interrupt at any time and bring up good ones, because
Indeed.
my
Let that
computer's the
shit run.
computer they're looking through.
Tweeting.
Alright, yeah. What are we doing?
This guy doesn't exist anymore, by the way.
Oh, that mic doesn't matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No!
That's the main thing to say about him. He's right there.
I know. We have
All
this
I
back
am.
and forth all the
There's
time.
a lag. I was like, I'm seated here and yet not in frame.
Oh, yeah.
I am a ghost. I am the ghost from the end of Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, so
Sorry.
Abe is rummaging through his satchel, but while he does that,
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone who's watching the stream. Some of us are viewing the comments, and
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'll check
or
that.
not.
I'll check it out.
I asked,
I'm
and that's all I'm gonna do.
Comfortable putting Adam in charge of that.
Sure.
Oh, I'm in charge of it?
No, I think we need more than one
I'm
person.
We're in
gonna-
charge
Let's
of it.
negotiate pay rates.
Alright,
Can we do that?
This was not enlisted.
I'm sorry. I just take an executive spot
Yeah.
here.
But obviously, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much to everyone who supported our efforts to raise the budget to create off hours. Full disclosure, we tried once before and basically came to the conclusion that we just couldn't make it work at the patronage level we
Yeah.
were sort of plateaued at. So, you, in a very real way, you made this a possible, so thank you. Possible. I missed the opportunity.
Oh yeah.
So,
It makes a lot more sense.
you made this a possible.
Mhm.
For a minute there, I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why go with that voice?
Now it makes sense.
When the possible was right there the whole time.
So this is a writing session, and pretty soon I'll stop addressing you, and we'll do the same kind of writing session we always did to create the show, and you'll see a bit of how that works. Just real quick, has everyone written? Everyone here's written After Hours episodes, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that went to production. So,
Yeah.
hey, can we shut this window for sound?
Yep.
I mean,
My ass.
it's my house. I don't know why I need.
And we should go around the room and introduce ourselves. of course.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I also just want, I want people to know, if they didn't know, that we're not like swooping in on this idea. We all have
Right.
credibility. Everyone here worked on After Hours extensively.
Mm.
Yeah, let's go around.
I am Adam Ganser, and I did that.
Yeah.
Wrote and
That's-
directed
that's-
about half the
I
episodes.
directed I directed the other half. I
Minus
guess.
the Justin Vier.
Right,
And I wrote at least one. I think maybe only one got made.
You did the Terminator one, didn't you?
The Terminator one, and then there was another one I want to recycle.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna like.
I really
about
wanna-
this shit.
And you were always-
There's a few scripts that maybe they'll get their chance today.
Mostly
Yeah.
directed, but always
Yeah.
contributed
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the ideas via the writers' room.
Yes.
Michael Swain, I wrote many of them, like more than a dozen, I believe, and was the dumb one.
In it.
That's it.
And the smart one in the left.
And I think something people overlook. Well, people always go like, "Why don't you just do it? It looks like it's free to make." And I think one of the things they overlook is the clip packages. Like, this will entail, for example, I'm gonna pitch a Frasier thing, and if we eventually make it,
Love it.
Right.
Love it so much.
someone, me or Abe, will ingest the entirety of Frasier into their computers,
Yeah.
transcode it, and
Looking
find
really
every
forward
moment.
to it.
Yeah. So I also edited a shit ton of them, is why I bring that up,
Yeah.
and I think it's more crucial to the show than people think.
Mm.
Sir.
I'm Tom Ryman. I wrote 2 episodes, one of which never made it to air.
Oh,
Which
did
one
we
didn't
shoot
make
that? Which
The
one?
Christmas one with the new cast.
Oh.
And I fucking loved that episode so much.
Oh yeah, I cast the new cast too. That's another thing.
Mm.
Yeah,
that was a
that's
long and I loved that cast.
Kimia
Oh yeah.
and
and
associates.
Yasmin, and,
that's right.
Yeah.
and Cody and
Yeah.
Carmen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My favorite bit in it was I had written a joke for Yasmin that she stopped believing in Santa when she learned that he gave presents to other children.
Oh, like, if I can't have you,
Dude,
fuck
she was
off.
so funny. I literally.
great.
Yeah.
Many people have recommended
Shame.
reaching out to some members of that cast. Cody's already on board.
Yeah.
But that might be in the cards. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna talk about that once we actually get in. This is not usually part of the writers' meeting. We all knew each other
Yeah, we didn't
from
know each
before.
other.
Yeah.
Well, Dave mostly worked through a veil, so this is the first time I've
Yeah.
seen him.
Yeah. He's so
Well,
beautiful.
once I write, I'm gonna write through the mail.
He's a beautiful.
I'm David Bell. I wrote like a handful of episodes. I'm not sure how many. And some of the new, I wrote like at least one of the new cast ones too.
Nice.
The spin-off.
That did or did not air.
That did air. I
Here's
think I have
Andy
one
Connor.
unaired episode.
So there's either 2 or 3 episodes of After Hours that never aired because of
Yeah.
the thing that happened.
I know.
The Great
I
Fire Gasm.
think
Including a
the
finale.
last episode edited was written by me because I remember
Gotcha.
the day it all happened. Someone was like, "Hey, you want to watch your episode? It's no one's ever going to see it, so here it is."
So in the Game of Thrones of After Hours, you
They
have
burned the hard
like
drive.
you have the technical birthright. Like I feel like you could build a war
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Like you're the one who should carry the torch afterward.
Right. Right.
Sir dressed identically to me.
That yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I wish I had a NASA hat, but
Yeah.
NASA's
Yeah,
dope.
there it is. I'm Abe Epperson, and I directed half of the post-Justin VR era, I guess.
Fire.
Fire, yeah.
In case he's watching, I
In case
guess.
he's on- yeah. And now, how many seasons was that? That was like the first 2 or so, right?
Yeah, I think they've done about 20 episodes.
The
or
20
less.
about 20 episodes,
Or
and
less
then
before we-
so something I just wanted to say is I think that Adam didn't sell the way that the process worked at Cracked was very quick and streamlined because it's a lot of content, and the directors were in the rooms, the writers were in the rooms, including these fine folk, and of course one of the cast. Would do like a rapid fire meeting that would often take many hours where we discuss animations and stuff like that. But that's not what this meeting is. What this meeting is more of the generation of ideas.
Same directory.
Yeah. The generation of ideas and concepts that could play, like have a particular point of view. Like this is funny because this character could do that and they could think that and stuff like that. But also just the topic of what we're writing. Like you said, you
Yeah,
have
this
Frasier,
will be the
which
scripting
is
episode
probably
and
a good place to start.
But yes, so I think it's cool you bring that up though. There will be future streams. You'll see the whole process if you
Yeah.
want us to get into it. Because there will be animation, idea generation, meetings, etc., etc.
Oh, you guys got some cool animators too, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
just wanted to point out, Jub64 loves Dave.
Hi, Jub
Right.
Jub. I love you too.
That's the only comment.
He's
That's the only comment
saying
I've read so far.
Appropriate
Alright,
amount
great.
of time.
It's the only one that needs to be read. Only one that needs to be read.
Well, before we okay, so let's just do it.
Yeah.
Before we get into blah blah blah, the writing episodes of the show,
Yeah, whatever.
I actually want to talk about structurally the show,
Yeah.
and because I still think it's important, and it's open floor. Anyone may interrupt at any time, like meetings.
Mm.
I still think it's probably important that each character has, or at least starts with, an underlying argument style or like domain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're married to
Um,
being 4.
No, this is gonna. I want to get through this semi quickly, but
Oh,
there
yeah.
are a few elements I agree. Our cast is 8 people are interested,
Okay.
and that's a balance of people we know are great and just want in it, and people who we knew would be familiar faces and help the transition and are great and we want in it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we have to talk about that and decide, like, is it always 4? Can it be 3 to 5 based on?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I actually felt in After Hours I was hampered, like I had to write an extra
Yes.
argument for no reason,
Yeah.
or needed one
I
more
thought
person.
I was thinking about
So it
devices
could
like
be
that
3 to 5,
because
and I thought
yeah.
there could be like, I think we should probably have a rule, and this is like the crass show business part of me, that like some of the most crafty names are always there, and then it can rotate around and around
Yeah.
and around. Yeah.
I like the idea that in a new actor or a new off hours, it would be essentially something where we could have a flexible cast because we're using a diner and we're definitely designing those 2 shots. Why we're there is because I think people love pop culture observations told as if,
Yeah.
in general, like you do with your friends. And I like the idea that there's some funny rules we could probably invent for why there's more people than a house would take, like maybe it's just an enormous house or whatever, we're only shooting here. People could walk in and have one line. It's like all up to the writers at this stage if we want to distance ourselves.
Yeah.
But,
and yeah.
That's good. I'm just saying we're open to framework ideas.
Totally, and that's another thing that is just basically decided out of necessity. It won't be at a diner. It'll be at people's houses, and
Yeah, dude, we're in our 30s.
based
This is
on
dinner parties now. Now we're
Yeah.
doing dinner parties.
And I think
Wine
that-
and cheese parties.
I
Yeah.
think it should be key, and it's also a joke opportunity. That like based on the simple set dressing, you can tell why they're like the obvious thing is there's a finished board game, but they're talking about movies already when we cut it.
Right.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
literally do them shutting off a movie.
Right,
Yeah,
movie
talk
night ended
about-
and they
yeah.
talk. Yeah. You had a thought about the number thing.
we should have a rotating cast.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because flexibility of.
Yeah, I just think like why not?
Yeah.
It gives us a chance to write different kinds of jokes,
Yeah.
so we're not as married to that, and
Mm.
it gives you guys a lot more flexibility, which I'm sure you want.
Yeah.
It'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
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 So how did we want to begin also in terms of did we want to start pitching right on in? Any ideas? Because some people were like, I want to kind of brainstorm stuff. Some people were like, I kind of want to get down to the nitty gritty and determine some episodes. What direction should this conversation go?
I just think we should do that structural stuff first. The last part sort of being like, if that's the case, okay. The easy way is I already asked Maggie May Fish for the viewers, because she's on board to be in it, and I already asked her
Yeah.
if I was like, how do you think you would be at being the dad? Because so for example, I think, or I don't know, I want opinions. Do we need to decide what everyone's outlook is now? Do we
Yeah.
have to go through 8 people and pick their character type
Mhm.
right now? or should we let the people who write the first episode sort of have ownership over it? But there are like things I know.
It definitely
Like we need a
helps.
Dan, by which I mean a nerd who exposits that everyone shits on.
I-
That's
Yeah.
still a valuable character.
I would-
Cody
I would
could do
like
it.
to-
I've seen him do characters like
Cody's
that.
done it.
And I think Maggie could do it, but she was like, maybe, yeah.
I think, do we
We'll
want to do
figure it.
that on stream? We want to do how
No,
we
no,
cast
we're-
our friends
no,
on
no,
stream?
okay.
We're not.
I guess
Pick,
I'm
we're
just
not.
saying, like,
we're not
I don't
picking
give a
cast.
shit, but okay,
Fair
good
enough.
point.
No, no, we're just. I think it's in
Picking
support of
the
your
characters.
idea, like the idea that we have a flexible cast.
Yeah,
We're gonna have people with restrictions, and we're gonna try to use that as the elements of the show
totally.
to determine a better show, the best of the one we
And
can
keep
make.
in mind that I think what we're actually talking about is what argument and performance styles are the
Yes.
most, whatever,
Yeah.
fecund.
It's definitely greatly appreciated. Like I came into writing After Hours late, and so I didn't have to struggle with that. Like it was
Right.
like, okay, I know who everybody is. I know what their arguments would be. I know which person put it on. So it's definitely easier to start knowing who these people.
We did
are.
get to do writing for the new cast.
Yes.
We got to start to figure out.
And that was
And
really
it,
fun.
it was fun, but it did take a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
What? So, who are the 8 people? Can I just hear a list?
Myself,
Yeah.
and I think I'll just throw out there, I think I should be basically exactly the same as I was, functionally.
I don't think
Yeah,
anyone's
yeah.
gonna fight you on
I
that.
agree.
Because that's what the
Same
audience
continuity.
wants. That's what we're doing this to make the maximum number of
Michael,
people
Mike,
happy.
that's what the audience
Yeah.
wants. You take. I've seen you. You take joy,
Yeah.
legitimate joy
Oh, I do,
after
but
years
I'm
and
saying-
years.
I've always
of
seen
If
commitment.
we're doing a show that's legally distinct from After Hours and I showed up and I was the Dan O'Brien like type,
I've always
I
seen
just
you
think
as
people
more
would be
of a
like,
son.
that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
No, you,
So that's decided. Katie Stoll,
Great.
Damian Washington, Rush from Rom.com.
Oh, Damien's gonna be in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, D. I love that.
Daniel Vincent Gorick,
Great.
Maggie Mae Fish,
Yeah,
Gregory Burke,
love that.
who I've already said, that's a clean swap. He's Soren. Does everyone agree?
Yeah, he's-
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
So Gregory Burke
We'll
will
lean
be
into
the
that.
Soren type. But I don't, yeah, I also mean, yeah.
But he's more bro.
Arrogant and arguments about high-minded philosophy like Soren's character was always. All right.
He's kind of a
Yeah.
joker too.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
there's
Uh,
yeah,
Cody,
great.
there's something there.
and Teresa.
Oh, Teresa's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Great. Ooh,
These
Teresa.
people are
I feel like-
basically said they wanted to be involved.
And I, yeah,
As
and
actors.
again,
As we reached out. Yeah.
there's no pressure. They've all said that would be fun. It's like, I haven't told anyone. You'll definitely be in the first one, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, combination I think can still be left up to individual writers, but I do think it might be helpful to like do what we just did with me and Greg.
Yeah. Is there a chance we can talk to Kimia?
Yeah, that's what I was also saying.
We
Is
should reach
there's
out to
also
her.
nothing stopping us from expanding the cast.
Yeah.
Although I do think there's a point at which like
We want to stay
12
home.
people would feel too
Yeah.
diffused
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
The reason a lot of people like Firefly is that you're on the ship a lot. You know what I mean?
And this
It's
will take
familiar
place on a
ground. It's
Has
a nice
anyone-
place for a show.
Anyone seen Prospect? I will reach out to Kimia.
Yeah, Kimia's
Which
great.
is Prospects?
What is Prospect?
It's the low budget Pedro Pascal sci-fi movie.
Yeah. Okay. Do I need
We
to rewatch
pitched-
that because
we-
I didn't like it?
We pitched a bunch of movies at
Oh,
a
it's
high
on the
level to Dust,
Yes.
and this is what they spent all their
It's
money on
the
instead.
same occupation. Yeah, it's like
And,
you're on this foreign
That's
planet.
fine.
Yeah.
You know, you never get it. But it was trying to be Firefly so hard, and I actually like it a lot. Like that's not that
You like
bad
Prospect?
of a thing to be. The third act kind of ruins the whole movie, but up till that point, it's very, very.
I was just so bored.
Really?
Yeah.
I
need
love
to watch
world
it
building.
again.
I love shit where it's
Yeah,
like
well done.
he takes the thing and he does it and he mixes it and that makes a foam and you're like, oh, the foam is a drug. I just like sci-fi
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
like figuring shit
Dave, do you
out.
like Solaris?
I'm all right on Solar.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
That's what I thought.
I
Yeah.
just want to take a quick poll of the audience. Have they seen Dave's feet yet? Because I'm seeing them. Have they
Oh,
seen
they're-
your feet?
I don't think they can see it on the stream.
I think he's good.
But I'm not gonna offer
You're
it.
not
We're
gonna
doing the
offer
news,
the-
baby.
No.
Also, I would.
I got crazy boots on right now.
Is anyone doing what they said they do in scanning? And I only ask because
I'm
if there's
checking
a
it
ton
right
of people
I don't
that
have
say
any
we can't
Wi-Fi,
hear you,
so I
that's
just-
all I'm
I
worried
just
about.
can't.
That's-
Neuromancer says Cody should be the delivery guy.
Oh yeah, Star.
So it doesn't sound like-
Star wants to be in the background as much as possible.
Oh,
sure,
As like
sure.
an Amazon person who just drops something off or
That's such a
anything.
good idea.
A
Oh, that's
stalker
great.
in the window if it's a horror
That's such a
episode.
good idea. Oh,
And I think
man.
that's great.
So okay, so like I think it's good for us to identify like expositor types out of this list.
On
because-
also argument types. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
crucial for the script.
So like, because the hardest thing to replace from the original After Hours, in my opinion, is the sort of Asperger's-y thing that Dan always did that allowed us to write prose.
he's the Sheldon.
You know, like right, and so like that is hard to replace as like a natural character function.
However, I have seen Cody has a very wide range, and I've
Yeah,
seen him
Cody
do
can do it.
characters
Yeah.
that well, I'm convinced he could do it. And I, for some reason, believe Maggie May could do it
Yeah.
based
Yeah.
on vibe, even though she was like, "Well, I don't know because I've never tried to play a character like that,
Yeah.
But
but I'll try."
But her
Yeah.
energy is very wacky. She
Yeah,
has very
I-
wacky energy.
I think we should be always just playing to the key energy of the performer.
Yeah.
So we've cast all these people, we've seen all these people,
Mm-hmm.
we've worked with them, or worked with them once removed to the point that you collaborated
Yeah.
in a very real way with these actors,
Mhm.
or have worked with them directly. So I think it's good that we play to the what roles they want to play too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
what they feel is fit, and that's going to be Mike and I's, occupation for the next,
Sure,
amount
yeah.
of pre-production time.
Oh, and speaking of, because I'm looking at a book with his face on the cover, I also asked Zora, but he hasn't gotten back.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I love
Right.
that.
Yeah, I was like, suddenly one day, I know the person on that book cover. Like, I didn't buy that because of him. We already had it.
Oh, you already had it?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I was like, that's Zora. That's weird. And it's in the photo credits.
That's funny.
Anyway. Okay. I want to move us past this, but I'm a little
Yeah.
hung up just because I feel like I want to remind us, or maybe I'm wrong, or no, I'm right. I give too many caveats.
No, never.
No, I've done it enough. I'm right. I agree, but this is also kind of separate than that because I'm not
Exactly.
saying what vibe Cody's character should have. It's what type of arguments he makes, so that
Yes.
the
Yeah.
authors are writing consistent things. So
Both need to
I'll
be
just,
true.
yeah. So basically, I made id-based arguments, and I think I still should.
Mhm.
And Kimia was also explicitly that,
Yes.
and I mean that works for me.
Yeah. She
Two's
really-
probably enough. Like, do we need more people
We
to be
didn't
in that
formulate
slot?
that many
Yeah.
No.
arguments for Kimia.
Well, and there's a lot of episodes where Michael was joke man,
Right.
not argument man.
Right.
Mm.
I would argue that Maggie could do that.
Okay.
I'm not saying she
Really?
should, but yeah.
Like,
I do think
I want to eat 1,000,000 burgers and fuck everything. Really?
not that kind of id, but
That's
other forms.
That's
of
the it. What else you gonna do? You got a mouth.
Not
you got
everybody has the same
genitals,
head.
dude. Well, when I think top level Maggie, I think
There's
Overly
a
cheerful?
mental pleasure. There's like looking at something like looking
Yes.
at a fire and smiling.
yeah, but that's too high minded. Or like I'm saying,
If we go back to
that's
Aristotle,
I don't think that's as suited
I
to.
believe it was Plato.
I believe it
That's-
was.
That's exactly what I'm trying to
Person is
avoid.
poetic.
The characters
Yeah.
shouldn't be like fully rounded characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
what they were in After Hours.
No,
No, they're
And
they're
so I'm saying
typological.
like, most arguments about what would happen if you got 3 wishes
And then
come
that-
down to eating 1,000,000 burgers or fucking everyone.
right.
Right.
So I think
I think we
should
dialed
stick
in
with
how
that.
much id.
So I don't know if I put Maggie May there, but
Okay.
maybe. I thought because Willard is obviously a glaring omission. You are missed, Katie. And her thing was the negative side of human nature,
hmm
and I could see that easily coming from Cody or Teresa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always the most cynical,
Yep.
sarcastic argument.
Totally. I think we got 2 of all types, to be honest.
That's what I and I also want to
And
leave
as
the
long-
floor open if someone's like,
Yeah.
I always thought there should be a 5th type that there never was, but in my mind, otherwise, Greg and DVG are Sorens essentially,
Yes.
which is high-minded philosophers.
The term of that is like high-minded. Because Soren
Those
wasn't
were-
a philosopher.
Yeah.
I just want to say you got to separate. We're not talking about. Over time, the characters naturally grow because the writers write to the actor's style. And
Canon gets filled.
But I'm not talking about the vibe that the character will have. It's the
argument
underlying
style.
what it right.
How do they approach
so he's
every
an
problem?
ideologue. I see what you mean.
I'm
like-
saying when we originally created
Are you a
Legally
hammer or
Distinct
are you
Show,
Yeah. I get it.
it was
I get
Michael's the id, Soren's the super ego.
Yeah.
Orange the GM.
Who was someone was and then someone was like the overview moderator. But anyway,
Ego?
I think Dan was the ego, meaning that he provided the communication between. But we just eventually said he gives the exposition.
Katie's the kind of moderation type.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, it didn't break down to straight Freudian things, but it was Katie's always going to explain why this won't work because of realism. She always does
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
movie breaks if you do realism. Soren always does like, I think this is true in an abstract sense. Therefore, I will apply that logic, but not pragmatic.
He's a magician.
Dan was, I have all the information and will provide evidence. And then Mike was
Dan was Moneyball.
it. Yeah, exactly.
He was moneyballing it.
Oh, Moneyball O'Brien.
Damien could be a Mike or a Dan.
Damien, I think, enjoys being a Mike the most.
Yeah.
In my experience, but he can do a lot of things. Yeah, so you could give him
Okay.
you could give him the big exposition, he would nail that.
So I think I know how to get us past this.
Yeah.
Does anyone have another argument style that they think they want to take the opportunity to introduce to the ecosystem?
I feel like this was already something that anybody could do, but just seeking out like conspiracies or like really crazy theories.
I was thinking
Yeah,
the same thing.
crackpot?
Yeah.
Anxious and paranoid kind
Yeah.
of his approach.
But that's kind of something like the collective group would always sometimes conclude.
Right,
But
that's
it's from
as
a
a
different-
I
story
usually
being.
give it to
different
Dan.
Yeah. At the end of
Dan would have
episodes
it.
in particular.
Yeah.
But we would always write a bit to put them in a mental space where they would go there.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Soren would be crazy for one episode
Right.
because
Right, 'cause he's coughing up a
because the
feather or
character
whatever.
talked
Yeah,
to the
exactly.
TV.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could see a character who, whenever they're there, you know it's a conspiracy episode. That
Yeah.
would be fun.
I think there's also like a
DVG or Cody would be good
I
at
was gonna
that.
say
There's
DVD.
also a humanitarian, a more social justice humanitarian based thinker, like a Stuart Mill type.
Social
figure.
justice. There goes
Yeah,
the stream.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, but
Now
like,
we get
but like
it.
those things were always dealt with in like a logical way.
Mhm.
They were never dealt with as if they're like a person who's like that's their interest and their aesthetic.
Not
You know,
their
like-
whole interest. The show did often say like, shit is fucked up because looks what it implies about
Right,
racism or
but
whatever.
you know what I mean. But like there's a type of person that you meet in the world who like they're coming from that point of view first,
Mhm.
and like their logic is based on that, and I think we have people like that in this group that
Yeah.
would be interesting.
Yeah.
It wouldn't necessarily just mean they only make those arguments. It
Yeah.
would mean that they notice those things
Yeah.
about
Right,
movies,
right.
and like
Is it just
You're
someone
not
who's-
pitching a super PC
No.
SJW
I'm
annoying
not.
More
character.
And
someone
they don't have
who's
to be
more
that at all, in
Passionate,
fact.
like more,
I think
they sympathize more with the character. Are you thinking like?
It could be that, or it could be the exact opposite. It could be like the frat bro version, where like
Right.
bro stuff is what makes them like interested, and like what's behind bro stuff is like wanting to connect to people and like social causes that they understand through this stupid means. I'm just saying there's a spectrum of that. It can
Yeah.
be
Like how Vanessa Gritton is in real life, like a character
Yeah.
that's kind of like
Right.
Fine, I'll
Yeah.
put my
exactly.
bag down.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
the,
no,
way, the way
they were-
that the way that Yasmin
They
was.
They were ribbing me for the bag.
Wow.
Yasmin was that way.
Don't
and I-
rib our pal.
Yasmin was that way, and I would also argue I could see versions of DVG like that would
Right.
be interesting.
DVG is such an
I
interesting
think so.
ad because he also has very wide range.
Yeah, he can do
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
couple of different.
I could see
If people on the
Katie-
stream remember Cracked Advice Board, he was Dr. Cone.
Dr. Cone, yeah.
But I could see Katie coming from
Fucking
that place.
Dr. Cone.
We haven't talked about Stole enough, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because after Kill Me Now, that opened me up to a new side of like, she's also an amazing like person who hates you and doesn't give a
Right.
fuck. That pairs well with cynical arguments, but I could also see it pairing with a conspiracy thing.
yeah.
Another
or an institutions thing, which
Yeah.
is kind of what Adam, I think, is
Yeah,
picturing.
an really anti-institution.
It's sort of
Like Robert Evans and Katie Stoll's
Right.
body. I can
Yeah,
almost
right.
see
Robert
it.
Evans. Robert Evans would be a great version of this kind of idea.
Understand.
Yeah.
Yes. It gives you access to like a whole level of graduate like critical theory that we had a hard time incorporating into the scripts, but that we would very easily do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like stuff that's like fucking structureless or different readings of things that we never really did. Like, how would you read this if it was?
It
like,
was
from
also weird when a character pulled from history rather
Right.
than actual pop culture.
like how would a
Right.
Marxist
Yeah.
read this movie? How would a like that kind of conversation could happen?
Oh, I like it, especially if it's
You know?
overwrought. You
Right.
know? Like,
Right.
Yeah, there could be like someone who like thinks that they're Ronan Farrow or something like that. You know? Like,
Yeah, Ronan Farrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
That would be fucking hilarious. Or that could just be like we kind of tried to do that with Dana from
Mhm.
internet content.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I think we should go and. Or
Did you have
sorry,
another
I have
idea?
one more thing
Yeah,
to
yeah,
just
yeah.
to throw out there, which is that it's something that always not bothered me, but I wouldn't be sure in terms of writing for After Hours, which is the spectrum of like taste. Like someone who likes really artsy movies versus someone who likes
Kind of trash.
the trash, or like people who like a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of things.
A low culture person.
Someone who's like more represents general audiences where they're just like into it and it doesn't fucking
Yeah,
matter.
like
Yeah.
pulp
Where it's-
sympathy.
Yeah, where it's like
Yeah.
it's a spectrum of taste because
I
I remember
think,
writing
and
one
every
where-
person with middle of the road taste is a good character
Yeah.
archetype.
Oh,
So having some but not all.
Yeah,
we
episodes.
could have like if we sorry
Oh, no.
it just gave me an idea like if you had a character type like character doing that argument and that was a part of their personality
Mhm.
we could also have like a higher art format and they just hate each other like
But
they
that's-
see each other and they leave like a Newman and Jerry situation.
So it's the high art piece that we actually didn't do on After Hours. It's not the low art piece we didn't do. It was like
Yeah.
we didn't have
Well, there
conversations
was-
about Godfather
the
or
thing
David
that-
Lynch.
Yeah,
or
the
like,
thing that specifically
you know.
made me wonder this was when I was trying to do the Friday the 13th argument, and someone would have had to know
Yes.
the entire. So I was like, who the fuck would have watched all
Right.
of Friday the 13th?
Right.
So
Mhm.
I went with Katie because I
Why
forget
not?
how we went with Katie, but it was a
Yeah.
good choice.
But also, I will
I
say,
think just because
and
we
this,
thought it was funny.
Yeah.
this again is the crass business owner of Small Beans at me.
like, who wants to watch that?
Well, popular things by definition are more popular. So there's a reason I don't want to get too, like,
No,
I'd
but-
love to write an episode about Herzog, but we shouldn't.
Okay.
You know?
Well,
I don't mean that.
One of my pitches.
I don't mean that. I don't mean that.
I mean, it would be really funny to watch, like, just talking about it like it's a superhero movie, but
Right.
going over
Yeah.
Herzog films.
It's,
But
it's,
only
it's,
to
it's
people
the
who
style
care
of
about that.
enthusiasm.
Yeah.
It's someone who's just like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. I
Oh, that
mean,
gives me a
like,
really good idea,
when
actually.
Tom, when you and I talk about Punisher Warzone, and we always like laugh at the fact that he explodes someone out of the
Right.
air with a
Flipping in
missile
midair.
launcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a one laugh. There's also another laugh about Synecdoche, New York. That's some good stuff.
And
You
I
know,
don't-
it's the energy
Yeah.
behind that impulse.
And
I
with
think.
our limited number of off hours episodes, I would push hard against someone pitching a Synecdoche, New York episode.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, that's.
But I think it could be,
We're in definitely-
it could be like
Well,
a joke
just
with internet.
shut me down.
Oh
before-
shit!
Yeah.
Can we reconvene?
I love how you're building a narrative already as a writer.
Okay, does that feel like, I know it's not nailed down, but I also think it'll become clearer through
Yeah.
pitching an episode.
But I
Yeah.
do think that we expanded what kinds of types,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
good.
I feel comfortable.
But I also
moving on.
think all four types that existed before will also be present in some measure.
in different configurations,
Yeah.
kind of like Fry and Bender and Leela,
Right.
and yeah.
Like
The
there could be an
trio.
episode where, yeah, instead of the Soren type there, the conspiracy person's there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I also wanted to point out that we did run a Twitter poll that a couple thousand people responded to about. I said, let me see, let me load it up. But the winner was Disney reboots.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
said, what should the first topic be?
Oh, I have a
Doesn't
pitch.
matter
Live
what-
action
That's
Disney
kind of a
reboots.
gift.
Doesn't matter what the question is. The answer is always Disney.
I have a
reboots.
pitch based
No,
on that.
Oh, okay.
It's
and
relevant.
then the second was Frasier. The third was something else.
These are topics for episodes.
Topics
Yeah.
for the pilot.
Pilot.
The-
And then the fourth was Skyrim. like
I
the world of
have-
Skyrim, which trailed by like a significant. So I don't know. I like wanted to see if people
Right.
are open to video game episodes, but they're not that
Oh
much.
yeah,
I
More
have a,
movies.
way open to it.
I have a specific.
What
I
else
like,
is
I
it?
like universes. I think that's the important part of
Yes.
After Hours is universes, and there's only so many universes, guys. You know,
Oh yeah, but
so-
there's
Yeah.
new ones all the time. Like some of the best After Hours episodes started the way I'm gonna start this pitch. Something Stranger Things,
Yeah.
right? Like
Right.
we should figure something out.
We'll find it.
Stranger Things, Game of Thrones, something. like,
Yeah, Star
But Dave,
Wars.
it seemed like you were.
No,
gonna
I
say
just
that one.
had a general pilot pitch
Dan's
because
in there.
Oh,
I did.
hell
He
yes.
Oh,
says
good.
do a Cuphead
Hell yes,
episode.
Dan.
Do a what now?
A Cuphead episode.
I assumed he was gonna say Gotham, and send it only to Soren, like that Wu-Tang album.
Yeah.
I was thinking a pitch of what type of reboot would you want to be in, or what you want to become, only because you are
Love you, buddy.
rebooting After Hours.
Uh huh.
So just starting with a reboot thing. A Disney reboot would be one of the like, what
You
type
could-
of reboot?
You can do a
world?
lot of real fun meta jokes with it too.
Yeah, you could, where the characters are reboots.
I was
Yeah.
glad Reboots won
Mhm.
because that's obviously great fodder for the structural game for that episode. yeah.
Right.
Keep up staging, Dave.
Oh, it's fine.
so
I'm leaning
sorry.
back on purpose. I mean,
you want to be obscure.
I'd rather be comfortable than seen. I don't care
He's a
if I'm
Milford
seen.
man.
I
It's going
care
on your
more if I'm
tombstone.
comfortable.
Oh, okay. No, it was Disney
You just
Reboots.
fucked me up, man. I'm changing how I'm gonna live my life from now on.
Disney Reboots 32%.
Content universe.
The Joker as a character concept 26%.
Oh,
Frasier 23. Skyrim 19.
Joker's a good one.
They're all pretty close.
They're fairly. I
Those
mean,
numbers are pretty
32 at the
close.
top and 19 at the bottom is
Joker.
something of a spread.
I
But
really don't want any more Joker.
Yeah.
What about a joke?
I don't know. That was just brief aside. I just wanted to confide.
But you're on a street.
Yeah,
Say it for the class.
I don't want to see another
I mean,
Joker. I
Yeah,
there
honestly,
yeah.
could be a fun thing about.
That could be what it's.
for many reasons, a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, just figuring out how every single portrayer of the Joker could be the same person. I don't know what the arguments would be,
Right.
but
Yeah.
But also, I like
just-
the argument
just
of
somehow
like we
make-
don't need the Joker as a villain anymore, or
Or
something
the
like
Joker is a
that.
disease that's passed on, or something like that.
Well, that also because the Joker gets redone over and over and always represents the only core thing about him is I'm chaos. I enjoy like Scott
Yeah.
Ackerman
Yeah.
has a really famous tweet where he goes like the Joker character was really challenging for me. It was like almost as if like what if someone found crime like funny or like fun as if it were a joke to them. I have to think about this.
That's great.
But like, so it is. The Joker is a really good barometer of what the filmmaker's definition of chaos
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like, what scares them, not just bad, but chaos. What
Techniques,
represents disorder?
techniques of chaos. Also,
Yeah.
You could start it on just like what's the best Joker kind of
Yes.
thing. Because I've always thought that
just goes to the simple.
there's an
path.
argument for the Jared Leto Joker being the best Joker because
Oh,
he's the biggest
here we go.
douchebag.
Yeah.
Like, because that's how an asshole who does crimes dressed as a clown would be.
right,
enacted.
he'd be a repellent dickhead.
Yeah, where like
Yeah.
the Joker
like
that's that.
terrible to be around.
Yeah,
You
like
almost,
the idea of
the episode
cool,
almost
crazy guy
with
is
Jared
actually
Leto winning and everyone being
Yeah.
sad about
Right.
it.
because
Yeah.
the cool, like the Heath Ledger like cool crazy guy is such a toxic idea that it's
Yeah.
like
Right.
I mean, I think there's also the take where like how the Joker reflects our American decay. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like every Joker represents a new stage of American decay.
I think of Batman.
Yeah.
Is that-
Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it talks. Yeah, specifically about through the ages. You
Right.
have to
Like if you start with Caesar Romero.
and Adam West. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Because, well,
Or not
Unlike-
Romero, Caesar.
like I think what's
Caesar
unique
Romero,
about
yeah.
Batman and Batman mythos is
Mm.
it's not good versus evil, it's order versus chaos.
Yeah.
Joker's chaos and Batman's order. And that's interesting, and we've hit Batman many times. It would be interesting to trace the Joker's sort of legacy.
Through society's
Well,
changes.
this
through time.
latest Joker movie is an actual origin story, right? Like the one
Kind
with
of.
Joaquin
Yeah,
Phoenix.
I mean we see not Joker.
Right, we see him and they
Yeah.
go, "Your name's just Ted," or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
Ted Joker.
But it,
It's foreshadowing.
It's Bill Jakowski.
Yeah.
Who's going Joker?
Okay. I want to jump around because everyone probably has a lot of pitches. So I mentioned that from the poll I said, so someone else pitched something new.
Well, Dave, did you want to expand on your
Or
the reboot
expand.
one?
the reboot one?
Oh,
Yeah,
that was it.
please.
I have pitches ranging from like
The question
here's
is-
a thing
yeah.
that we could talk about to like
Right, so episode kernel formats that always seem to work, I
Yeah.
think, for this type of show are open-ended question that, like, any geek or nerd would be
Mm-hmm.
like, that is a great question. Or basically the same but philosophical thing you draw from that, like the one
Right.
star in row where, which Ninja Turtle are you? Or,
yeah.
and you correspond to Seinfeld,
Right.
Ninja Turtles, etc. I think that was a Soren episode. Doesn't matter, and unless he's watching, then it does. And then of course, worlds are linked that don't seem linked is always good.
I was gonna pitch like cinematic universe, like making a case that these are actually cinematic universes.
Yes,
This is
Yeah.
how
cool.
these
That
things
would be
work.
good.
And then actually, a third of the episodes probably are takedowns. Like, this is
Yeah.
why this sucks and you didn't realize.
Which
Yeah.
is the
Or this
worst,
is why a shitty thing is
worst
good.
or best one to be a regular Joe in.
Yeah.
It's
That
like
was
a
the
pretty
other
standard.
pitch I was bringing.
I got
from
one of
last
those.
time.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I got one of those.
Mhm.
You want to hear any of it from Dave?
I just want
Go
to
ahead,
refresh
Dave.
the question of Disney Reboot 1 would be,
I would,
what genre of reboots
Yeah,
would
the
you like
pitch
to
I
be?
had was just like, how would you like your life rebooted? Like the benefits of different types of reboots
Ooh.
that are out there.
New
Someone
Game
goes
Plus.
with
Oh,
the late
New
90s,
Game Plus.
late 90s gritty
Like-
reboot.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah,
goes
and
with
like-
the Disney live
Yeah.
action
What
reboot.
kind of cool things would happen in your life if it was rebooted that way?
Right, right.
I don't want to like call our shot,
That's an interesting.
but
idea.
I expect someone to pitch something around that, and I expect that will probably be the first episode because it meshes so well with
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
rebooting the show.
Especially if you
Yeah.
if you start with like the characters that are clearly like the closest.
But that's a
You
good
could
angle
argue-
on it.
You could argue it would be hard to do with like 4 different arguments, but like the different like merits of reboots. Like somebody could be like, "Oh, here's why they're good," and somebody could be like,
Yeah.
"Here's why they're bad." And
And like the various ways.
Here's
But
why,
I do like-
here's
like-
why having kids means reboots must happen. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
reboots
Yeah.
plus.
Well, I like
plus
because someone could
preparation.
also say, "Well, I want to be like a TV reboot. Like I used to be a film franchise, now on Netflix. Side characters.
Yeah.
Hawkeye's just gonna pop in now and then.
Right.
you get more time to tell the story. But there's because there's like
There are
legitimate-
distinct
yeah.
threads of reboot. That's a great angle on it.
And the
Yeah, the
person-
gritty reboot was such a thing of its time that
Right.
we're moving away from.
Right.
it.
Right.
And the Disney reboot specifically, I know Dave is angry about.
Oh, I'm very angry about
Yeah,
it.
it's the most
Wow.
cynical shit in the world.
Yeah.
So that could be somebody's angle.
And of course, that's got to be a major punchline. Is I can almost wink to camera like.
Yeah.
Also, I
Yeah, but it
assume-
just can't capture the magic of the original, you know.
Also, I assume this first episode might come out around when The Lion King is out. I don't know what your guys.
And when
release date
Disney
was.
Plus comes out, it's gonna have.
We're gonna
Sword
see
in the
how
Stone.
fast it develops,
Yeah.
but it should be comparable in terms of
I think
cycle.
I think it's in July.
In terms
Yeah.
of like the after-hours cycle,
Mm.
probably we could
Shoot
reach
2
something like
episodes
that.
every other
We'd have
month.
smaller.
Yeah.
We probably have a additional like production week where we
They're really-
prepare because we're not going to use a lot of producers but we are going to have the benefit of having a location. So there's like
Yeah.
but it probably will need more time because also we don't have a workspace where we can all sit and be all the time. We can talk. We can telecommunicate. Or
Oh, like
can,
we could do this through Discord sometimes.
Yeah,
but people
but-
do love to see us.
But we
versus
were a
not.
lot more active in terms of there was a system built, so there will be some slowing down of that.
Yeah.
But more or less, several like, I mean, we're trying
Few
to
weeks.
in
Yeah.
4 to 6 weeks kind of cycle.
New pitch. I'm taking notes, by the way. So someone shout.
Here we go.
Yeah,
do it.
So
Do it,
this
you
pitch
beautiful
is this pitch is which organized crime universe would be the best to be a regular Joe in,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be like it would be like the John Wick universe where like criminals are beholden to strange like gold like promises
Right.
that they have to honor.
Like these real
and, like-
Byzantine rules.
Right, exactly. Like,
Right.
and there's like an organized crime, like a secret syndicate that has a safe space.
Yeah.
So like,
Right.
what's it like to be an average person
Yeah.
as
In
impacted
various
by that?
criminal underworlds,
Right.
as depicted. In
I feel
so like
and it
Jabba
couldn't
the
be the
Hutt.
Let's just work
With John Wick.
Jabba the Hutt's like syndicate would have to.
Is
be like-
most of the
Right.
jokes
Yeah.
being like framing up, like painting a picture, essentially, like that might be like a very heavy animated episode, honestly. 'Cause
Right.
we need to, because it sounds like it would be trying, like, which I really like. It could be a cool thing. Just setting up scenarios where you go in to take a deep dive in a really bizarre culture that we take from some cinematic universe, and then do workplace comedy in it, and then invent ways in which you could like make jokes that way.
I think that's
guess.
right. I think you have
'Cause
to like.
that's yeah.
I think you have to rule out movies that are based on actual organized crime.
Right.
So it can't be The Godfather or like any of those movies.
Mhm.
It has to be like a fictional world.
Yeah, and I think
Like
And a world where there's lots of crime.
right, like Cool
Like-
World.
Yeah.
Fifth
Yeah,
Element.
sure,
Fifth
yeah.
Element.
Fifth
there should be one joke
Or like,
about it.
like
Cool World.
Sin City.
There's
Sin
so-
it shouldn't
City
be one of
would be a
the
good example.
arguments.
All right.
I-
the next one is Cool World. The
No,
pitch.
dude, there's organized crime in Roger Rabbit, and you're gonna go with Cool World?
I just feel like we haven't seen enough Kim Basinger animated characters.
I do think
Uh,
I would say that's an amazing thing we've never hit on, which is great. I was kind of worried about the show having more places to go,
Yeah.
but yes, organized crime
I
worlds is great. I don't know why it would be Average Joe. It seems more interesting to me that like
Maybe a
the
criminal in
episode
it?
would start with one of the 6 people admitting they just shoplifted something small, and then going like, if you had to be like a career criminal
The only
in a
Yeah,
movie
maybe that's
franchise,
right.
which one would it be?
Right.
Yeah.
the only neat thing of the Average Joe thing would be to point out that in the John Wick universe, the Average Joe is just a
Is an
criminal.
assassin.
Right.
Yeah, like I.
But that could be
Right.
their argument about
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
Wick.
Yeah,
they
like-
could pick John Wick because they like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, like statistically speaking, I think if you went through and just counted civilians versus assassins in those movies, you'd find that the majority are assassins.
You have to bear in mind that, like, at where we've been left in the John Wick canon, you're now responsible for killing John Wick.
Yeah. All of us
Like,
here.
everyone has to kill him.
We have to
Like,
try.
that's it.
People are
And you
sitting
know
at
it's
home
a
and they
di-
get the message like, oh,
Ah,
alright.
fuck
Shit,
me.
I gotta go try
They're
to
gonna,
kill
they're
John
giving me
Wick.
the medal. They gave me the medallion. I have to do
I
it.
gotta go kill
Imagine
him.
you're
Stupid medallion.
Imagine you're like not a superhero. You're like kind of good at martial arts,
Yeah.
but there's a god in front of you.
Okay. I was like, he's very good at martial arts.
No, I'm talking about
Sorry,
the
if
his
you're like
victim.
A
Yeah.
random
his
person
victim.
gets a text message. You have to go try to kill the most famous murderer.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm ghosting that shit.
I think there's other, like, pretty
Not
good
the kill
universes. Like, Dick Tracy might be fun.
Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Like-
I like it better when it's a whole franchise.
Yeah.
Like I like
We don't need. Yeah.
John Wick is definitely in there. I feel like Star Wars is definitely in
Yeah.
there.
Mm.
I think there's
Godfather could,
something-
it,
You
like
could
I
do
could see
Godfather.
someone making a pretty rich argument by taking I'm going classic, Godfather, Untouchables, that kind
Like
of
mobster.
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah,
like, just
mobster
mobster
movies.
universe. Yeah.
Well, and Sopranos, for that matter.
It's just.
The big hit.
Yeah, there you go.
And there's
Vegas.
just such a cool
Just the
world.
idea of Vegas.
There's just such a big swath. But I feel like there's movies like Ronin, or movies where it's like
Ronin?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Ronin!
Shit,
no one
sees.
I think there's a
You had
Ronin
to
Cool
think
World
about it.
I had to
crossover.
think about Ronin.
It's like, dude, the animated dude from Cool World becomes Robbie D in Ronin. You gotta follow me now.
You gotta follow me. Man.
That's a good joke for the conspiracy guy, and everyone be like, I'm unfamiliar
I
with
don't know
that. I believe you.
Do you have to? Okay.
But there's movies like that. It doesn't have to be that one.
Do you have to be the species of the criminals? Are you?
Oh, so you're involving
Because the
sci-fi?
winner to me,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
winner-
yeah.
no, the winner
Right.
to me is All Dogs Go to Heaven because in
I was
the
gonna
world
say
of
you
dog
wanna be a
gangsters,
cartoon cat or
the
something.
human is king,
Yeah.
and you can rule that world.
So that would be like Five Goes West and All Dogs Go to
Yeah.
Heaven, right?
Yeah.
Like the world where animals have loan sharks and it's a literal shark,
Yeah.
of course, and shit
And
like
if you're
that.
a
Oh,
human, you
there's
can
there's
just-
organized crime in Star Wars though. Alexander Palmer,
Yeah.
like Jabba.
Yeah, Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
the
argue.
the references
Casino.
are so clear. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I would
scum and
argue-
Ivan villainy. It's well established.
Yeah, I would argue for that one being on that specific, like the Jabba the Hutt planet. or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Like,
Tatooine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're on Tatooine.
Like,
and
I
you're
would be
doing-
part of
Casino
Jabba's
Planet
gang.
can't
Why?
be in it.
Yeah.
Like we agree, no Casino
Yeah.
Planet.
Oh, it's in it.
No, fuck that.
Yeah,
There'd
what
be some
was-
provisos.
It's
Were
not
those Don
only in it,
Bluth
it's
cartoons?
definitely
Who
in
made
it.
all those?
The
You
Don
just
Bluth
said
cartoon?
Is it
now
Don
in the word
Bluth?
He
credits.
made, didn't he
What is the
make,
line between mafia and warlord? Does like something like
I think
Waterworld work?
whether there's a national government.
No,
I think it's like-
I think you have to be a criminal underworld.
Underworld,
And in Waterworld,
gotcha.
he's like the king of.
He's
you
the
know,
out. He's
Mad Max-
above the water.
Mad Max
I get
Fury
what you're
Road.
saying. Yeah.
If there's no laws, if there's no criminal underworld.
Okay,
Right.
I
Right.
know you're gonna freak out. I don't care.
Wait,
like,
sorry. The
movies
no
like Usual
cartoon
Suspects.
animal.
Usual suspects.
Cartoon animal game.
Yeah.
What's
What- yeah.
Where
That's
like
good.
there's like a criminal overlord that all other criminals fear.
Oh,
You know
that's
what I mean?
not.
And he
that's
does
what I'm saying,
crazy
that's
shit.
not-
What?
I would want to be a cat burglar that sings songs to time his crimes.
Oh yes, that's true.
That movie was a
Hudson
nightmare.
Hawk.
Hudson Hawk.
I didn't hear what you said that
Are you
first, and I
excited
was
about
like,
us
"What
getting
movie
all
is he
these,
referencing?"
these hot movie references in there?
Anyway,
Oh, well,
Ronan
this
and
is
Hudson Hawk.
this is why this is the team to write this. Those movies become single jokes in the episode,
Right.
Not
Just
full,
Not, yeah,
not
not
full
full
arguments.
episodes. Yeah.
Anyway, that idea feels like it has some legs.
I
That's similar,
totally
yeah,
agree.
crime organization.
Yeah, and we can do this meeting, or we can circle back if we end up deciding and feel like I just
Yeah.
want to make sure we get through a fair number of pitches
Yeah,
and
for sure.
everyone gets out of here. He's got a long drive. So let's move to a new.
I have
I-
more. You go.
I'll
Who's
go.
not this
Mine
year?
actually, like I feel like I didn't think about franchises, or that wasn't my first pitch because I like that we have a few going and I don't have any that beats that. So I thought of one that was more of tropes, which means it would probably want to be in a later episode because for two reasons. One, it would need the writer to have to watch the totality of television. No, to watch like a lot of TV to
Yeah.
find those moments because it's not searchable. But it'd be like a TV tropes episode, and what it would be is tropes that need to die, like tropes and things that you like scene work that you've seen time and time again that you absolutely need it to die, and it would just be a compendium of that. Examples would be like that. There's always those instances in TV, especially where people have plot armor, where the person is about to shoot, the villain is about to shoot the protagonist. And then in the last second, someone who mysteriously disappeared at the beginning of Act 3 shows up and shoots them in the back as they're
Right.
about to fire.
Yeah.
It's just so rote and stupid now, and even good shows do them, that we should just like put them to bed, retire the number.
Well, I would almost make, or I feel like there could almost be an episode about. To me, that is the dominant trope that no writers figured out how to get around.
Right.
Because you're right.
Exactly.
From garbage all the way up to the best movies that exist,
hmm
you can still go, well, the third character who seems to die
Right.
but we never saw their body is gonna come
Yeah.
save them.
The
Right.
arg-
And it's like no one has
Yeah.
figured out anything better than
Yeah.
I feel like the argument for it is basically just that, like, well, these aren't like stories worth telling if they're not incredible
Yeah.
and have these crazy coincidences.
Right.
Right.
That's the way they get around it.
Yeah, they're impossible right in a way.
I have-
I also like. It's also what I watched at a point in my life. I don't know what point in my life. I watched the like 4 seasons of Person of Interest,
Oh boy.
Oh.
Oh
and
boy.
I couldn't. I lost count of how many times that exact trope that I was telling you.
Right.
And it just feels like a funny thing to like branch. Because like it's also in Game of Thrones when someone stabs
Right.
someone
It's in
like,
every
in the
movie.
back of the head twice in the series.
Well, that's the
for some
thing. This
reason.
one would probably live and die in the editing, which would be
Exactly.
intensely laborious. Because the best version of this episode,
I
and
just
that's what
watched
I want it to
TV.
be,
Yeah.
is you go like, is someone goes, it's in everything, and we cut to it in 20 different
Yeah.
shows that are all different, ranging from like 50 years of the history of
Like
television.
yeah, in a way I think of it as
That's
like
a lot of editing.
in a way I think it's actually streamlined if it's just character describing what's going on, and then cuts to essentially like an edit reel of all these different times while
Right.
they talk about it.
Right, right,
But
I'm
and then
saying.
just do one each, so it could either be a very comprehensive, or it could actually be a smaller, bite-sized
Also-
episode that is just very impressive from start to finish in terms of the editing.
If you're-
But I'm definitely willing to take that on eventually.
If you're not pointing out like tropes you haven't noticed, then you probably don't have to give too many examples because most of the people watching would be like, oh
Would be
yeah,
like, oh,
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I
I'm
would
just
think
trying.
it's-
I'm putting
yeah.
out feelers of if people can think of better
There's-
tropes
there-
than
There's
I
value
have-
to both of it.
Because I would say that particular one also, I think it's so saturated that there's even a fair argument to be made that it might be saturated to make fun of that.
Right. I
Yeah.
have a
But if we can think of tropes that are more onto the surface,
I feel like,
but in that
I feel like
way.
the framing device needs, like it needs something a little bit broader. Like I feel like that's like a line of argument in a broader conversation or something, or it just needs to be tweaked in a way so so that the
you just
episode-
don't like the we have
No,
to
I
put
mean-
it to bed
well,
I like
aspect.
what
'Cause
it
that's
is.
the framing device.
We have
Yeah.
to put it things we have to put
Things
to
we
bed.
have to just stop doing.
This is a weird
Thing we have to
question,
stop.
but
Yeah.
are we sure we didn't do an after hours event?
I know we didn't do
I don't
that.
know.
I don't think we did because
Where each character picks, they said if there was one thing you could make never happen again in a TV show or movie, what would it
TV
be?
graveyard.
And someone did people not saying goodbye when they hang up phones, and someone did.
that's true. We
If
have
we
made
never
that,
did it,
We have
then
done
I
that
pitched it a
montage
lot and it
aspect
didn't
thing
get-
before.
I
We
think
have
that
done it.
episode got made.
I think I directed it, and
I got a similar pitch for
I
tropes.
remember something like that. So we may have even done it multiple times.
Yeah.
Because we've done that. That's why I was like, bring back the montage aspect of it.
Mhm.
Right.
So your Simpsons episode, like that felt a lot similar.
Like
But
the weight
that
is
did
on
have
our
the
head.
framing device of it's all the Simpsons.
Well,
But
the framing device. Oh, the first one. The framing device in the second one was Homer as God, which is more of
Yes.
the traditional after
yeah,
hours
exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
But let's hear what Dave
Well,
had
this
and maybe
might,
they
this,
hybrid.
yeah, I was gonna say this might merge with yours. I had movie tropes that would make good superpowers. So like the
Yeah, that's a
ability
framework.
the
That
ability
also
to remember number sequences just perfectly. Like when people are like, okay, you're gonna want to do this code and then this code.
Yeah.
Like I think of Star Trek. I think the reboot sequel. There's a part where Kirk has to remember a bunch of numbers, or National Treasure he has to. Although that's more forgiving because the characters just have a photographic memory.
Yep.
But like tropes that basically need to die, that would be like, oh, I'd love to have that in real life.
But make it. But
like the
then just for
ability to
argument's
just
sake,
walk
I like
out
that
of a
little.
hospital when
I
you're
like that
injured.
addition a lot. Yeah,
me
that's
too.
a better addition.
Where it would be instead of them just griping, they're saying, "I would want that,
That,
because
yeah,
of this,
because-
because it would break reality in this way. That
Yeah,
would be
that's great.
beneficial."
That's
That's
great.
good.
That's
we should come up
more
with
out.
more of those.
Off hours. Yes, we should.
Should
That's
I
hard to do
now?
on the spot. Should we do it now or circle
Oh yeah,
back?
maybe we should come back. Yeah.
Because I think Abe already said, and I agree that it wouldn't be in the first two episodes.
I don't
anyway.
think so.
Yeah, but
So
definitely.
I
what
think we
the,
may
the
have-
way
I
you
need,
said
like,
of the
I
person
yeah.
coming
do, like,
back, like that's a superpower.
Do like 12.
Yes.
I'll probably do like 12 weeks of TV on and off, and then find the right
Just
things if I know what I'm looking for, because I'll be
record
able
it
to
all
scan away.
and
Does it
YouTube.
That's
just
gotta have happened in Firefly. All right, let's watch.
Does it
it.
just
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
be TV? You could also just watch a bunch of movies. Like it's just
It could also.
pop culture.
I think movies,
tropes.
because movies are on bigger foundations, they can have more clever ways of resolving scenes.
That's fair,
TV
yeah.
is so
That's true.
constructed and so specific, it creates these weird artifacts of like, all right, yeah, so you're gonna use the whole like we're in a room and there's a person behind someone so you can't see them.
Right.
Those kinds of solutions
Yeah.
do not merit a lot of available things that
Yeah.
you can solve those.
Sure,
with.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Especially old
Sure,
TV
sure.
when
Sure,
they're
sure.
churning out episodes and they're just like, okay,
Yes.
we need this.
Yeah. But because I think we got. I want to hear Frasier because I think that might be what. I think we kind of got a 1 and a 2.
Y'all get there. I want to hear from you. I'll go
Get there.
first. And then I'll go.
Okay,
Because I said joke or something, which is not a full pitch, but
We got
I'll get in.
we got the movie universes one, right? Did you write that one down? Is that
Um,
a
yeah.
thing we want to?
Movie universe is what? Be more
It's like
specific.
it was
It was cinematic universe.
yeah
right?
just identifying what movies are actually cinematic universes.
Oh, right.
movies that take place in it.
Right,
Yeah,
movies
yeah.
that take place in the same universe.
Oh, shared cinematic universe.
Yeah, yeah.
That changes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
that
something
don't
you
build themselves to be, but you
Right,
go,
but you
no,
can
this
make an
is-
Movies that
argument
could
for it,
be,
yeah.
That's
Bizarrely
always good.
intersecting
Do you
universes.
have one
I'm sure
to jump
I
on?
I, have,
So-
I think I might have wrote this on crack that Carrie is clearly a mutant. Carrie from the movie
She's in the
Carrie,
X-Men
like she's
universe,
the
yeah.
Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
like stuff like that, where it's like there's a lot of
Is that the angle you're thinking?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like
I was
the idea
saying,
of
I
this.
thought like What's Eating Gilbert Grape is linked to another movie that's
You
shot.
could do
Redemption.
that.
Well, yeah,
But
it's-
now,
yeah,
I think it's a
also
lot more
linking them.
clickable if it's what. So to be clear in my head, it's you're saying existing things that are built as cinematic universes.
Right.
What are additional famous movies that are
That are in
secretly
that
belong in
universe,
that?
I think it could be
I
either,
also,
though.
I also
It could
think
be either.
if you really, really worked at it, we could make it like other movie universes that are also in the X-Men universe. Like you could just be it could just be X-Men. I feel like that wouldn't be that hard.
Right.
Like
Well,
Carrie for sure.
My mind also
Like-
lead to there a Star Wars ghost appears in the Big Bang Theory, which would be a fun like what are the ramifications of if it was a long time ago, then Big Bang Theory takes place after the after the Galactic
Right.
Empire fell.
Right.
Like, it's just a funny sentence to say.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like we could pretty easily.
There could be just a thing on X-Men too.
I mean, I don't
That's
think it's
totally
a
true.
bad idea. I just think it might be a fun way to focus it on something that's like.
Like, I mean, like anytime like a ghost shows up, like you could say that like Hamlet's in the Star Wars universe because his dad's in charge.
But I do think
but that's. I go with like Mel Gibson's
Hamlet.
I think
Mel
probably
Gibson's Hamlet in Star Wars.
in episode the
Yes.
characters would probably be arguing about like trying to beat each other with what's one movie you would add to a universe, and like the winner is whoever has the best fit. Unless, and I agree, but I think the jokes and argument might become too samey if you just
It's all
go,
just one
so and
list.
so's a mutant, well
Yeah,
so and so's a
so-and-so's a
mutant,
mutant,
well
yeah.
so and
Yeah,
so's.
Like
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I could come.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I could come with a compelling reason that like Jaws is in like the Pirates of the Caribbean universe.
I love
Yes.
that you're like
Sure.
you're just throwing it out, but you're like I could.
I can make this
I
shit
think-
work.
yeah, I can
Who
make
says
this-
I can't?
I think
Yeah.
the goal the characters would have is what's the most seamless match. Yeah, where
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
Carrie
Or like-
and X-Men
Or like
motherfuckers. You like,
Jaws
that's
is in the
nice,
same
yeah.
universe as the French Connection.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, which one?
French Connection.
Wait,
Yeah.
who's it?
Jaws.
Jaws from the French sure.
Yeah.
So Roche
Yeah, of
is
course.
the same
Uh,
people.
French
I
Connection,
wanna
prequel
know-
Jaws.
I want to see, like, I want to canonize Luc Besson's future,
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
That would be
Because
hilarious.
it's fucking, like, there's got to be a timeline. You know he's got a timeline. You just know it.
Well, Valerian and Fifth Element are more or less the same.
Yeah, and
But
then that movie
Valerian's based
Lockdown
on
with
someone
Guy
else's
Pearce.
comic, which is so
Lockdown.
weird.
Lockdown with Guy
There's a
Pearce.
dark
I
side
haven't
to
seen
this,
that.
this very colorful
And
landscape.
Nikita could
Mhm.
be instrumental in.
But wait,
Lucy-
wait, we just gotta make this about
Universe.
Ronan and Cool
Lucy,
World.
Lucy.
Like, we're talking about Luke
Yes,
Besson here.
I agree. The last three he did, no one saw. Like he's not a thing anymore. I
Right.
would
Also,
argue.
with Lucy, we could bring in the fact that like we then became like he just gave all the answers.
yeah.
Or Lucy gave all the answers to us, and then we were able to become spacefaring. Like there's
Can
a
we
whole.
just can we pour one out for Lucy as like a cracked reference? Because like in the writers' room, we talked
What do you
more
mean?
about
It's a
that
Luc Besson
fucking movie more than any movie I could think of. Like got brought up as a
Towards the end.
template.
Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah.
so much.
No, the thing that got
It was
brought up
big at the
most
time.
frequently
It was never big
was
as time.
Pokemon, and we would silently go around the table.
Morgan
and everyone would go,
Freeman
yeah, I don't know
disagree.
Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't know shit about Pokemon.
And then,
Okay, I'm gonna sneak this in because I got a script half written already,
Okay.
or like entirely written. So it's why is Christopher Nolan terrible, and the crux
as
of
a
the
filmmaker or man?
as his films,
Okay.
and the crux of the argument is that the Prestige is the litmus test for why his films don't work.
The Prestige explains all his other
Yes.
films. I
Yeah,
think.
they
Yes,
turn into-
and it's
yeah.
because he doesn't have a prestige.
That is
He has never made a film with a prestige.
I have seen a few
Personally, I
edit
think that's
videos.
a great episode.
Really? I
No?
love. It's so good that
That
I
it's
think
been
it might have been done.
Like it's been done
I
really
need to find it for
eloquently
sure,
by
but I think I've seen
someone
two
else.
different. I think
I
Nerd
wrote-
Writer did one.
I wrote this script 2 years ago, and I'll be goddamned if we don't make it.
Yeah.
Well, we were
or
just.
maybe 3 years ago.
I think
Yeah.
continue the pitch. I just want to let you know. I'm pretty sure I've seen this on the internet.
that
It wasn't just like it's something we've all talked
Okay.
about. But
Well, what appeals to me is you
but it's after
get
I
to
was
show
out.
clips from
Yeah,
Dark
if we
Knight
can frame
and-
that way.
Yeah, all the people
It's-
like Chris
yeah,
Nolan.
it's essentially making the point that
Especially
he
in the
knows
beginning
how
of
to
the
make
season. I want to hit some big
He knows how to make a
franchises.
cool premise, but
Uh-huh.
not how to make it emotionally satisfying.
Mhm.
So, which is what the Prestige is, and so
Right.
like, that was the fourth argument in the script I wrote, was like this like elaborate thing. I would
Yeah.
say we could sort of gently arrive at it by examining his films, and there would be a sort of Dan exposition at the end that ties it all together. You know, like I think it's one of those I think it's one of those episodes where like everyone starts out like, why do I fucking hate Chris Nolan? Like you start with like, why do I hate Chris Nolan, right? Because like that's the secret thing is like people always feel a little unsatisfied with his movies and like nobody talks about it, and then they bring it up and you're like, oh yeah, this movie had this problem,
Well,
this movie had that problem.
I'm firmly on the other side of that personally. where
Oh,
I
I'm
love-
super not.
I love Chris Nolan films because
Someone should argue against that point.
Sure.
yeah,
I
and
wanna hear it.
I was
well,
like,
think
not
the
everyone
argument-
hates Chris
I think
Nolan.
the argument is that I think we're expecting them to be smarter than they are.
He,
I
no,
think his
he's setting
movies
us up
are-
to think that.
Yeah, maybe it is his fault, maybe.
Yes.
But I think of those as like really fun, dumb movies that are very entertaining, and they're not completely stupid, but they're like, they for that I'm just like, yeah, this is fun entertainment, and I really the fucking the he's folding the city, it's cool, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of
It's-
that argument, which is that
it's-
this is really, really like original.
DMV's in there arguing at
Silly
this point.
entertainment.
Yeah,
God bless you, Dan.
What is he doing?
That he's
He's
pro
arguing.
Nolan.
He's arguing. No, he's not pro Nolan. He's just making my case against Nolan right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like, I would argue Nolan becomes interesting because his premises are so high concept that the movie is just explaining the premise. Like if you watch,
Yeah, that's fun.
watch fucking Inception, there is an hour-long
Interstellar,
montage,
yeah.
an hour montage that is just explaining the rules of the movie. That's literally all it is, and it's well crafted. It's cool, but like that's how much time it takes to understand the concept of the movie.
Well, it's Soderbergh and Ocean's 11 and The Sting. You know,
Yeah.
it's the idea that they gave you a 10-minute thing
Right.
to set us up for
Yes.
the denouement or set us up for the climax, and then Soderbergh did even more where he constructed that. Inception is just almost the whole movie.
Yeah, Soderbergh's like, I have to do this work in order for you to have the fun twist.
Yeah.
And Christopher Nolan's like, what if the work is the twist?
Yeah.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like,
Interstellar
what if
is
that's the cool
also,
part?
yeah. It's like, I'm going to explain how this all works. Oh, it got us to this planet. Here's Matt Damon. All
Right.
right. I'm gonna explain how this
Exactly.
all works on our planet.
Yes.
I know.
It's all turn, if you will.
It's
No
all-
prestige.
I-
Might be my
Yeah.
favorite Matt Damon role of all time.
He's wonderful in that. I'm not
Such
saying
a
he's not.
shitty
So
little
tired
asshole.
behind the
I can't-
knows when
I actually
it's
don't know if
right
I'm
to be
conflating
Matt Damon.
the internet or
To be the day, man.
previous writer rooms, but I have heard the observation over and over about
The
he
prestige thing?
shoots for like trailer kind of idea.
Sure.
Like if you look at the trailers, it's all very much. Michael Caine says that one line.
Yeah.
It's all like kind
That's
of
not
paint
really
by
what I'm
numbers.
hearing, though, is the premise.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
But you
exclusive.
also said
I'm
you
just
feel like
saying
you've
there's a
seen
Nolan
how other-
episode with that thought as well. If we want to have that meta conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's a fun. I mean, the only movie that I haven't really given a lot of thought to that fits into this exactly is Dunkirk. But I would also argue that Dunkirk doesn't have an arc.
Mhm.
Dunkirk is literally like a watch that's wound up and then just
Mhm.
goes. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, I guess you could say the ship people, like the people in the boats, have an arc. But it feels very
No, no.
fatalistic.
Shit.
No, the people on the ark have a boat.
I like the idea that Nolan, because it's also the shortest of his films. And,
Yeah.
Shorter than following?
Insomnia.
Well,
yes.
He has an arc.
Insomnia,
believe
he didn't
so.
write. See, Insomnia is the only movie he made he didn't write.
Aha!
Yeah. Memento he wrote, and that's his
Yeah,
best movie.
with his brother.
Memento has a prestige.
It's main.
It does. Memento's
Okay.
the only one that has a
Alright.
prestige.
That's
Yes.
like the main thing. It
That's
has.
why he has a movie
Yeah.
career, is that he has a prestige in Memento. Legit. The rest of
Yeah.
them, I mean, if you really work at it, you'll find out they don't really, they're all just like, it worked.
Mhm.
Like, the premise worked. And, like, the
I
rest of
don't-
them, they don't, like, emotionally matter.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
I'm only bringing this up because he's also a famous director, but is there any way to, like, make this a Shyamalan connection, or... I don't know. I might be
They are
really
doing.
derailing us.
No, it's okay.
Are you
Uh,
saying like the things that define the directors?
Well, spoiler alert, in a lot tons of these scripts, you know, we always end up going like, because it's funnier. We present 3 real superheroes that would be good choices, tear them down,
Right.
and then the winner is Zach Morris from Full House.
Yeah.
That's usually funnier than the real answer
Right.
winning through. So I'm thinking like, is there a way to make the argument with everyone sitting around the table being like, yeah, man, the way Shyamalan fell off, basically the biggest tank.
Yeah.
And then someone going, I think Nolan fell off worse and is worse than
Oh
that.
yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
Because
It's better than the ending being like
we are
kind of a
talking
bummer
about
for everybody.
what's their ability to make the ending satisfying.
Yeah.
And I would argue Shyamalan can actually still do that and nothing else like that.
See, the only
It's like,
my
watch
question-
it for the post-credits shot that makes you more excited than anything else that happened in the movie.
My only
Post-credits
question-
shot is the best part of the movie.
Like, you know what would be like a really hot take on M. Night Shyamalan is that his new movies are better than his old ones.
But they're not.
I know they're
Yeah.
but like that's the only take that I'm like, wow, I really want to hear somebody defend
I love
that.
people that are like,
Uh,
thought he started coming back with The Visit and Glass. No, he
Right.
fucking didn't. They're
Right.
terrible.
Because like otherwise, I feel like we've litigated this for 20 years. Like we've litigated it.
Why can't he stop getting money to make movies? How come you can fail a million
I wonder
times
if
and
there's-
it doesn't matter?
I wonder-
Lady in the Water?
Dude, I was gonna say Lady in the Water. Do you guys all remember
Yeah,
that
You
one
got a
time
quote
that
from a cereal box.
You remember-
Taliban?
you remember that one
Fucking
time
kidding me?
that M. Night totally tried to pass through this idea that he has a super obscure historical movie critic, Manny Farber,
Yeah.
is just in the same building as him, judging him about his storytelling. That happens. That is a small arc in Lady of the Water.
Although Lady in the Water could also be in the Fables universe, I just realized.
Yeah.
But,
Mhm. Oh yeah.
He made himself a superhero in his movies.
But that, again,
and he's in all of his movies.
no one wants to base a full argument on Lady in the Water.
Is there an argument that there's something we're all missing in all his movies? Because the most compelling thing I ever heard about one of his movies was the idea that the aliens were demons and signs. Because it makes everything make sense.
Yep.
in
Makes a
way
lot
that
more sense.
Makes the movie actually.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, that is
And
why
I-
it's
I never heard
return.
that.
He lived
Oh,
through
yeah.
a biblical event. Yeah.
Because they show up naked and they look like demons. The idea is the reason water kills them is because his daughter has like an almost spiritual relationship with the glasses of water that
Right.
she's putting around the house.
Right.
Making
It's
them
holy water.
Yeah, like
There's
it all-
also a Bible verse from which he got the idea that
From the
they
mouth of
can't,
babes,
that
yeah.
they can't
Yeah.
cross a threshold. Which
That's
explains
so
the Torah
great.
thing.
What if Shyamalan's just been making movies like that and just not explaining that, and we
And he
just not-
doesn't get why
Make
we
it
can't
happen,
get
he
it.
doesn't
Good, Dave.
understand.
Do it. Go.
Yeah.
Make the happening good.
It's a real
Explain.
challenge.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it a few more times.
Yeah.
and
A few
Yeah.
more times.
Yeah.
But
Oh, we watched it
obviously,
recently.
we did. It was
I think
very
if we
bad.
could get there, a bipartite episode about Nolan's trajectory and Shyamalan's trajectory
Yeah.
would be strong because, of course, it also ends with, well, Shyamalan's better than Nolan.
Mhm.
What a twist.
That
At
would
the end
be-
of our
What a
episode.
twist!
That's the obligatory joke for
Yeah,
that framing
yeah,
device, yeah.
But we don't need that to have. Do we need that? Does it need
No,
that?
I'm not
Okay.
trying to force Shyamalan into the Nolan thing if
Please
you
no.
want.
Please no. No.
I'm just trying to grow it.
No. Yeah, for sure. Maybe it's a shorter take on 4 filmmakers, like filmmakers who are secretly terrible. Like
Possibly, yeah. That seems kind of like bland. Like again,
No,
I feel like
yeah,
it needs
I
one more
agree.
element to be an off hours
Yes.
idea.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, not just I have a point about Wes Anderson's trajectory.
Right.
I have a point about Chris Nolan. They
Right.
should be linked.
by some common theme that we're
That's
arguing.
funny, ideally. Yeah,
Yes.
or
By a
surprising.
common, surprising, or comedic premise.
Yeah, you know, the show.
Mm.
So I'll mention, because the franchises one, I know Good Place is still pretty popular.
Yeah.
As Russian Doll,
Yeah.
I don't know how. Russian Doll is just the Good Place.
Is it?
It's
I need to-
only
I
the
watched the
2
first
main
episode.
characters, but it's just season 1 of the Good Place.
Oh.
They're trapped in a limbo, and her problem is in life she was like too chaotic, and his problem is in life he was too repressed,
Oh.
and he doesn't understand why he deserves to be there,
Yeah.
and he realizes it's how repressed he was, Like it's the same.
It's
I
hell
was
as other
waiting for
people.
Ted Danson
Yeah.
to come.
I'm
The
a little-
tone is totally different,
Right.
and yet everything else is the same.
Yeah.
I'm a
It's not
little
on
worried
spectrum.
that we're all attracted to like purgatory now.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing for our society to glom onto.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, everything's a living hell. I can relate to that.
There could be an episode there.
Mm-hmm.
What are other purgatory properties? Have we?
Purgatory?
Or
I don't keep
movies-
movies you
Yeah.
didn't
You don't keep up with the purgatory news?
movies that
Lost
you didn't realize are about purgatory.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
infer
Yeah,
that these
yeah,
movies are
yeah,
about
yeah.
the characters being
Yeah,
stuck in
yeah.
purgatory.
I mean,
That'd
there's
be-
always
yeah.
Lost.
I mean, there's always
Yeah, yeah,
Groundhog
yeah.
Day.
But Lost
Yeah.
is.
But I feel like there's-
Yeah, you'd want ones that are more surprising. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm
What
trying
if-
to think of ones where like the characters are like cartoons where the characters are relatively ages, like The Simpsons would be. Obviously, that's not.
I don't keep up with it. Has Stranger Things revealed? Is the other place? Is the Upside Down an alien planet they're warping to
It's
a
a-
parallel dimension?
It's a parallel dimension, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not purgatory, really. But
Again,
They
I mean,
could be.
it's
Groundhog Day is
arguable-
obviously that.
Yeah.
Yes. Like with the Black Mirror
Two,
episode.
obviously,
a lot
weirder
Star
ones.
Trek. The Star Trek Black Mirror episode kind of
Oh
idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
You could make an argument of almost literally any television show as a purgatory.
Yeah, because they're
characters.
always on
which
a
is
loop.
why,
Yeah,
it has
and
to be
especially
the perfect ones that
serialized.
resonate in a funny way.
Or
Yeah.
not
What about
non-serialized. Huh?
What about Veep?
Is her purgatory?
Yeah,
specifically?
because
Makes
I
the
mean,
most sense.
it's also because like it's about never getting what you really want, even though you get all the things that you want. Like that happens to her, right? Like every single
Mhm.
thing that she would want, she gets, including like love and like she's president and success, and that, but it never.
Isn't that hell?
I don't know.
Is hell-
Because she's.
What about-
That's my other question.
Is
Is purgatory a
purgatory
place where you're
right.
punished
Well,
less than hell?
if we're
or is
doing,
it
like-
neutrality itself? What is it?
If we're
you
doing
know?
Catholic purgatory, it
It's
gets
like
a little bit more.
Well,
narrow.
you get
It's like a
punished
loop,
to
right?
purge
It's like
your
a
sin,
win.
right?
Purgatory. The point of purgatory is to make you good enough to pass it on to the next
Exactly.
level.
You know what?
Hell
I
is
was
Which
punishment.
requires purgation, like
Right.
the purging of toxins.
One
Right.
might be a good one, and I'm sure we've covered this show a million times, but The Office, because it starts on the
Yeah.
premise of we're filming this documentary thing,
Right.
and then it never stops. They never stop filming.
Except for the finale.
They're just watching them. I never got that.
Well, in the
Right.
last season,
It's
they
like
see
Big
their own
Brother,
show
but
come
you
out
have-
on TV.
yeah, but they're stuck in this moment
Yeah.
of like we're doing this thing, and it shouldn't take this goddamn long.
Yeah.
Also,
They do show the doc in the end.
Do they?
Yeah.
That's
yeah, they
hilarious.
see themselves on TV.
They see the doc.
That's
We don't
how
see
They had to address
That's
it.
how Dwight and Angela find out the other is cheating or whatever. Or no, she's cheating on the senator at that point. Good show, but yeah, I don't love it yet. But it's all about the examples themselves.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be
I
something.
feel like we could
added.
get.
Yeah,
we
I'm
could get
still
pretty
We
thinking
clever
could
with it.
mull on
Yeah.
it.
That one's, yeah.
I think it's good enough to.
If you find two.
To
Uh,
try.
I wrote it down for sure. Yeah, but
Twilight Zone.
there was.
I didn't mean to.
Well,
Yeah, those are. I think
Twilight
sci-fi
Zone is
kinda
literally quite often purgatory. That's
Yeah.
too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of kills sci-fi, to be honest. Most sci-fi shows.
Yes, but like us,
Salty. It's
us
Kills
possibly.
No, that doesn't kill.
Yeah, maybe
Because
you could
you
argue
just
that.
you
It's all
face
Wait, which one?
us, you face an alternate you that represents your sins, but and yet at the end they replace you. But there's
Yeah.
an argument that that could be reaching an
I feel
equilibrium.
like we definitely would want to lay out like what is the purgatory, right?
You're right.
And it's like
Right.
something like stuff like judgment, like repetition,
It
or
would-
like
right.
I mean, I'm just pulling those out of my ass, but
Like,
like some sort of
criteria
groundwork
that we
to
buy
it.
in is, especially if it's already been defined.
I
Yeah.
also think
We can use one.
well a potential way is
talking movies.
it's
Oh.
interesting.
Oh.
Because, wait, which,
Oh, look who's talking
Oh, baby.
the babies or the adults are in
babies.
purgatory?
Yeah, the babies.
Babies.
Okay,
The
are
viewers.
in
Because
purgatory.
they're like
Now
full-
we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we're having a
That is
conversation.
Like, so you're
they're like
saying-
fully realized adults speaking, but like
Yeah.
nobody can hear them.
Look who's talking is
Ooh,
being John
entrapped
Malkovich
as a
actually.
baby,
Yeah. Trap.
Oh.
At the end of being John Malkovich, he's the baby and Look
He's
who's
trying
talking.
yeah, he's the baby from Look Who's Talking.
Yeah.
That could be one for the shared universes.
Which also happens to be the baby in 2001.
Yes, of
Odyssey.
course.
Sure.
Sure.
Oh, but you mentioned, and that's the first thing that comes to mind for me, which is like a strong a strong red flag that you're in purgatory would be that you are undergoing some kind of regular purging of toxins that makes you feel better by the end. So, which is why Groundhog Day is too obvious, but it's like. So I was thinking like, there's a couple true crime things that could work, like Robert Durst, but like burping. You could argue he's in purgatory because the sin, like that's his purgatory, is to have all the sin come out. Act of killing the guy does the same thing at the end. Yeah, we had like a. There was like a 5-year period where I saw 3 documentaries where an evil person burps all their evil out. If I can remember the third one, like that could be a quick clip package. Is like, yeah, you got
Thinner.
Evil is burping. I think is something we need to reckon with. As
Thinner
a
has
people.
like, doesn't Thinner have like this?
Green Mile.
Yeah, Green Mile has.
Green Mile would be purgatory.
gnats,
The evil
yeah.
is gnats that come out of your mouth.
Green Mile is explicitly
About
a kind of purgatory.
Yeah. No, but that would be, you're
obvious,
talking
but-
about, yeah, that, it's just a montage of clips.
No, I'm trying to think of like what's a.
This
I'm
is
trying to
like
think of
this.
like a stoner comedy where there's lots of throwing up scenes for comedy, but argue that that's actually because this movie is purgatory. Like if Dude, Where's My Car works, but I
Right.
haven't seen
Or,
that. Yeah.
Super bad. There's some throwing up in that one.
Yeah.
No.
All right, yeah. So this is I have the least to
Purgatory
contribute
Sarah.
to this whole meeting, but yeah, I'm just gonna say stuff like, yes, something about Game of Thrones would be
Right.
really great.
Sure.
I don't watch it, so it's all on someone
Oh.
else to save
Mhm.
us.
Oh.
I don't know if there's a criminal underworld in Game of Thrones or if it's fleshed out
Right,
enough
yeah.
to be part of
It
it.
has to be a part
I
of
know
it, I think.
Littlefinger's in the underworld, but it's not super fleshed out.
Right.
I'm
It has
sure
to,
in the
it has
book
to become
it
a
is for
fantasy.
hundreds of pages.
It's probably gonna be fantasy.
So the only one I have fully conceived, because I'm like, we don't need to go till 11. We don't need all. Was the Frasier one, which I started writing last time we tried to do this, which is a classic takedown. It's every person in Frasier is worse than the last, and it's like it starts with someone talking about like how if you think about it, Ted Mosby kind of sucks, and everyone's being like that. Yeah, we're bored of that.
Right.
And someone being like, Frasier sucks, then someone going like, no, I can top that. Daphne sucks. Niles sucks.
Right.
The sweet old man is the worst of all.
Yeah.
And I do have clips that support these things.
Okay.
The craziest being Martin Crane hitting on a 30-year-old Korean woman
Wow.
and directly implying
That's right.
when Daphne's like, stop doing that. He's like, they seem to like it in Korea, and she's like, but you're not giving her a candy bar after you burned down her village. So when Martin Crane was in
Jesus.
Korea, they took part in
committed
like
war crimes.
burning down villages, and then he'd give a candy bar to a girl 30 years
I
his
think-
junior and have sex with her is implied in Frasier.
Yeah.
And then like of course somehow the topper at the end would be like something
dog.
like, Eddie is a fucking
Yeah.
multiple murderer because of this and this and this.
I feel like you have to frame that.
Is Frasier big enough? is the
Well, I think you
question,
should frame it towards everybody knows Frasier, but I don't think people have watched Frasier recently. So it could be framed as like this show that is innocuous in your past.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up, and here's
Yeah,
like
right.
and now we're
Yeah.
listing all the reasons.
Is Frasier people like that's a pop culture
I think
nostalgia point?
I see it referenced way more than I should,
It-
and I
it-
do think that's because it became all available on Netflix.
Yeah.
Semi-recently.
It also
this
won
year.
a lot of awards because
Went
the
13
right
seasons.
people cared about it. I don't
Right.
know, like
Yeah, I think there's a lot of in our age group. I think there's a lot of fans.
okay, I'm just asking. I never
Right.
watched Frasier, so
yeah.
It got third in the poll.
okay,
We're getting a lot of I watched Frasier on the show.
all right.
I watched.
Speaking of Twitter, two
I
people
watched.
did this had this
I watched.
banter under a thread I was looking at, and they had very good arguments about who's worse, Ted Mosby or JD.
Right.
That's a little basic, but I was thinking it's
You could say
could
it's
potentially
Shitty-
put a twist
shitty
on
sitcom
it.
protagonist.
The worst sitcom. Yeah, like the worst
well,
charming, specifically like wry, charming sitcom.
Oh,
yeah, and they're
yeah.
also both shows are specifically about the guy's worldview and it not being a realistic one.
And
Right.
him being likable.
Yeah.
Like pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah. They're like you always rooting for their good heart. But
Mhm.
JD has a good heart.
Wait, which was JD?
John Doran.
Scrubs.
From Scrubs.
Oh, Straps. Got it.
So I could.
Would it
see-
be-
that one's like sneaky
um,
because the writers started to fucking hate that guy. So by the end, they started making him a real piece of trash.
And they would start to do just episodes where they're like, Jay's a dragon now.
I would
Everyone's in a fantasy world.
Would you? I don't know if you want to
What-
throw in shows like the Wonder Years, like other versions of that, where it's all-
Anything that's timeless, I think Wonder Years is on the bubble, but
Well,
I
it's just
certainly
been
younger
nailed.
people don't remember.
What about
it,
those?
but-
Maybe Fresh Prince. I don't know.
What about those kinds of shows? But it's like, what two people would make the most fucked up relationship? You know, because all those comedies are relationship fests.
right? What would be the most toxic?
Oh, what's the most toxic will they won't be?
Combination.
Well, I'd want to put
Yeah.
Mulder and Scully
Like-
in
like
a song.
Crappily Ever
After.
Yeah. For sure.
right? Like
Worst.
worst
I was-
relationship at the end.
But I think
Yeah.
a way to make it like the rules confined, I think it should be like worst will they won't they that had a long arc on a series.
Yeah.
Like Mulder and Scully, Dawson and whoever the fuck, Archie
I
and
think
whoever the
Fred-
fuck.
Ross and Rachel.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a terrible one.
Yeah.
And arguments about why, like, 10 years in the future, which relationship is the biggest nightmare. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We could also do the.
I think you could. I'm kind of coalescing on something that's like JD versus Ted Mosby, and then the surprise winner is Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing a lot of reading because I just wrote a Big Bang Theory sketch,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to watch it, so I'm reading things about it and watching like limited clips and shit.
Mm.
And one of the things is that Sheldon shows signs of having Asperger's and is championed as a hero of people who have Asperger's and feel that they're being represented. But at the same time, the creator of the show like comes out repeatedly to go, no, he doesn't. I invented him. He doesn't have Asperger's. And in the show, he does some things that are very counter to Asperger's
Right,
profiles.
right.
Not to say people can't like be different than the textbook definition of their
Right.
struggle,
That's
but if you take the creator's word that he doesn't have Asperger's, then everything he does
He's
becomes
just an
like
asshole.
he's just a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I read on Wikipedia, and I'm like, that is fucking true, is that they constantly play the Asperger's joke, which is people with Asperger's can't understand sarcasm. So someone will say something sarcastic, and the punchline is he takes it at face value.
Right.
And then they say, and then very, very frequently, he'll do a sarcastic dig right back at them as the following punchline.
So he gets it.
So he knows what sarcasm is, and pretends he
Deliberately-
doesn't to like fuck
Yeah.
with his friends.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
I can
But
see
it did-
something there.
Yeah. If he does it constantly, like if I was that person's friend, eventually I'd be like, just cut the shit.
Do you
Just
know
cut the
what
shit."
sarcasm is or not? Dude?
Yeah.
Like you gotta tell
Yeah,
me.
it should be alright. What are
You
doing?
antagonize
Yeah.
literally everyone.
Yeah.
Or like if you
X-Files,
listen to
Friends.
if you listen to Friends without the laugh track, like Chandler's just a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
He just says insulting
Yeah,
shit
he's
to
just
people.
a dickhead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because people just silently wait. But that's only because laugh track, they had to wait for laughs. So
Yeah.
it's an
Yeah,
artificially
well,
constructed moment.
I would
anyway.
say yes and no though, because if someone walks in the room and insults somebody
Right.
in
It
a
says
funny
like
way,
the equivalent of
and
hey, you big piece of shit.
yeah, but if like the friends in the room are like, oh, that's funny. Like if it's just their humor, that's one thing. But the fact that it's like it's a chorus laughing and the
Right.
characters
Yeah.
themselves aren't. Then it's like
Yeah.
well, they
If
don't
you-
find it.
you know, be an
fucking funny.
amazing
No,
cut.
everyone just stayed.
An amazing
Yeah.
cut
Move
would be
past that.
watching a Friends episode, remove the laughs, and just add sighs. Like every time Chandler does a joke, just
Someone muttering on the fourth one, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's why I like Garfield Minster.
That would be a fun animation.
I
Yeah,
could
yeah.
see
Yeah.
Jay. So now, like, because these players are on the board, JD, Ted Mosby, Sheldon, Chandler, I could see something that's like, who's the least likable character? Who, like, one of their central traits is they were really likable.
Kramer.
I think Kramer's an oddball more than he was likable.
I think
he was the breakout character because people like oddballs, but like Bender is
Then-
also
then I
that.
guess
and
He's
not-
actually, and
I guess
I would
you
argue
take 11.
Kramer is actually, he's like the least
I would
malicious
Seinfeld
character on
personally.
Seinfeld. Like
That's, I feel like
of
that's a
the-
separate episode.
most of the
Yeah.
chaos he causes is unintentional. Like
I mean,
he very,
unintentional because he's insane.
well, right, but I'm saying the other three core characters in Seinfeld intentionally harm people all the time for weird,
Yes.
bizarre Larry
Periods.
David.
Yeah, they're
reasons.
more like serial killers.
Right, and
Yeah.
Kramer just does things.
Kramer just wants a really great shower.
yeah, like
or
he doesn't.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I don't think he ever intentionally harms anyone. It's always
I'm
like
sure he
this-
does.
I
I would
it's
not
like,
bet against
it's like
him.
mostly like
Yeah.
this just wacky series of him just bumblefucking his way through
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Oh yeah, and then at the top we mentioned Joker something. I will mention
Oh.
something that occurred to me is a classic reversal would probably work. Arguments that the Joker actually requires and instills tremendous order because he takes a totally loose arrangement of ex-felons and convicts
And
and homeless
organizes
people
them, yeah.
and turns it into like a precision army
Yeah.
that can make bombs and kidnap people
Right.
and do
Right,
bad
he's a
guys.
There's like a Mance
And
Raider.
that Batman
from Game of
creates
Thrones
nothing but
for,
chaos.
I would say
everywhere he
especially
goes.
the Jack Nicholson one because he choreographs like going to that art museum with that guy
With that great
boombox,
boombox.
and like the parades and stuff. Like and
Yeah.
they're like building things.
Yeah, they really are.
Well, yeah, and at the beginning of Dark Knight, whatever the second one is like, that's the best, slickest bank robbery with the least consequences I've ever seen on film. Nothing went wrong. Great bank
Yeah.
robbery.
I would argue at least
I mean-
I don't know for the Nolan ones, but for the Burton ones, he's probably a really good boss too. Like I feel like
Or,
a
like-
lot of the Batman villains, like they gotta be.
Working for the Joker is a job.
We
and
did
Tim
do a
Burton's
Whose
like-
Henchman Would You Want to Be episode. For
Oh,
the
okay.
record. But I think the Chaos Order flip could work.
Yeah.
There's also, so like I don't know how to phrase this, but like other pop culture imitations of Joker that did it better.
Get Party Man.
You know,
Such as-
like Handsome Jack from Borderlands, or
Better age.
You think he's
yeah.
better
he's
than
not,
the
no, I don't think he's
Joker?
better,
Okay.
but I'm just saying
Yeah,
like,
yeah, okay,
ways
okay.
to improve the Joker from pop culture. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think it's more about genre mismatch and less about qualitative assessment. I think qualitative assessment's more in the jokes.
Could you do this is just like on the edge of what we're talking about, like
Yeah.
crazy characters who would fit in perfectly in other universes? Like, is there a universe where the Joker would go into and everybody would be like, oh, this guy's great?
Well, I feel
Yeah,
like if
yeah,
there
yeah.
was, we would
Sure,
use
yeah,
that in
figure
the
it
like
out.
Carrie fits on X-Men, Joker fits
Right.
in. He would be a good candidate for
Oh, yeah.
that.
Yeah, characters who've always been stuck in the wrong dimension.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, yeah, that's kind of the episode
Yeah.
we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier, though,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do like the idea of Carrie. All of Carrie's problems. If she had a Professor X to show up, and be like,
She'd be
yeah,
fine,
slow
yeah.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like out of time. Also.
Mike, I had another good.
Yep.
Always Sunny, you could say, is purgatory because it's characters that are refusing to learn their lesson. And they're all
Yeah.
trapped
That's
in
why
that
it'll never
bar.
be canceled.
Yeah.
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 And
They'll
just
never-
the
they'll never-
neighbors always
I mean,
sunny.
Because I thought of
Also Cheers.
I thought of Cheers
Yeah.
first because it ends with
Right.
everybody leaving.
But also
like,
with him staying in the bar
he's
forever.
staying in the
yeah.
bar forever, yeah.
I think
And then
the-
he becomes his
Yeah.
character from The Good Place.
I think the purgatory. Wait. Oh yeah. Cheers.
Oh
Perfect.
my god.
Perfect.
I'm a fucking dude.
Sam, you were a
Well,
real pitcher.
Well, Ted Danson.
is at a bar.
Ted Danson would be a good
Can we connect
person
everything
to
to
connect all his roles into one time.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Like I could see people really embracing an episode called like the Danson timeline.
Yeah. Except for you have to include Curb, and that makes it difficult.
There's a lot.
You also have to include Made in
Well,
America,
he's
which
usually
I'm
a
up
lot.
for the challenge.
Yeah, he's in the Orville.
Do you involve the brink? You know?
And you don't want to force it.
What
It
about
would have
that
to
medical
be
show he was on for like?
Oh,
he was
shit.
a doctor for like 10 years.
I would also so
Danson
thing that
What
happens
was
a
that
lot
called?
in the show
Becker?
though. Becker.
Becker!
The
Becker!
thing-
He was Becker.
It was
Yeah.
Nice pull! And I love that. Didn't Becker have like loosely conservative themes?
Yeah, he was kind of a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Kind of
He
shit.
was a dick. I don't remember it. I watched it all. I don't
Dan
remember
is
it.
shouting Becker in the chat.
Anyway,
It's behind.
I
Why will no one say Becker?
think obvious.
Can they not hear me?
All right, never mind.
Sorry.
no worries.
What were you gonna say?
That. Get it back. Oh, it would be okay for the characters to create roles at the beginning of the episode. Like I don't think
Yeah.
anyone could write an episode that did every Ted Danson appearance and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they could say
Yeah,
the
like,
big
yeah, like
ones.
only the
What do
amazing.
you consider the big ones? You know,
Yeah.
Becker, Good Place, Cheers, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
That's what I was
the
gonna
canonical
say.
time.
Like what's canonical Danson?
Yeah. Curb doesn't count. I don't
And you
I
can't
would
count
because
movies.
I need a way to get around.
There's no way.
her. That's
There's no.
what made me
There's no
think of that.
counting there.
So,
You can't do it.
are you entirely opposed to the idea of making an episode surrounding like famous bombs? like famous movies that are bombs.
The
Like,
like box
they said
office
bombs.
bombs.
Premise. You know what I mean? Like, so like
Like
the
whiffs
pitch-
at the box office.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
famous
Big
ones.
whiffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Expensive
like-
movies that.
No, because a movie can be so bad that it's still famous and people will click on the
Yeah.
episode.
So like my pitch would be like famous bombs that are fixed with one piece, like with one small change.
yeah.
Right. So the one that I immediately sprung to mind was when we were watching Adventures of Pluto Nash, and it got fixed when you realized it's an alternate timeline that Hillary Clinton won the election. in
Oh, that's
2016.
right. Yeah.
And like it fixes a lot of
And this
things.
is what she
There's
had
and
like
there's
that.
a Trump
It's-
residential area.
Yes, where like he was still happy and he
Yeah.
expanded the moon and Hillary
You could
got
also,
money.
I mean, you could put that into a few premises, like movies that take
Weirdly
place in
sad.
alternate timelines of our own.
That's also
Like
Yeah.
the idea, this is the world in which Hillary won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they would have to be like really simple. It's like the Biff Tannen.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it has to be like
Not that one,
moment
yeah.
in time that like had this not happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like this is the world that Pearl Harbor didn't exist in, or something like that. Not the event, just the whole place.
No,
Right,
but
right.
No.
proof that
Well,
proof of something weird, like oh look who's talking to. I can prove it's the world where Pearl Harbor didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You could also get like, I mean, this is the show just straight up tells you that, but you can argue that Star Trek takes place in an alternate universe because it refers to the eugenics wars of 1999, which obviously
Oh,
didn't
right.
happen
Oh
in this
yeah.
timeline.
Yeah. And they took pills for a while, didn't
Yeah.
they?
I would shy away from ones where it only is because we
Bad
passed the
yeah.
time where they mentioned
That's
the
true.
year.
I think
yeah.
unless we could figure out what that could have how that
Unless
could have happened. in our
anything can be
timeline.
trumped if it's compelling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Do we?
I also, this is all great. We have way more than we need. I'll just say, or I don't want
I
to. We
have
will
a-
do this again.
Okay, I have a few more. I was just curious. Are we not doing any video game things?
No, dude.
No.
Video games. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can do video games, and
Oh, okay.
I think we can do anything. I just am somewhat, like,
You sounded hesitant about
Yeah.
it or something.
No. I'm eager that we only have 8 episodes for the first batch, so.
So you want to make sure.
Like, yeah, if by video games you mean Mario, you know
Well,
what I mean?
the only-
but
the
not
only-
if you mean Blood Rain 2,
Right,
you have a
no.
really unique take on the 3rd level,
The only pitch I had was the best like open world sandbox games you would want to live in, provided you only have one life. So the idea is like, it has to be you want to live in this world, but you also don't want to die.
Yeah.
Because because my first instinct would be like, oh, like a Rockstar game, Red Dead Redemption.
Right.
And it's like I couldn't leave the house in that
Yeah,
game
you
because
kill
I would
them,
be
you
shot.
die.
Very deadly.
Yeah,
walk
so it's
outside.
the idea of like trying to pick the perfect open world game that you would want to permanently.
Yeah, like Minecraft feels safe at first, but actually I die in
It's
that
not.
constantly. And
Yeah.
if the first time I died I was really dead, that would be fucking
And you can't.
ass.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah.
turn out to be fucking flour.
Well,
or some shit like
that's-
But
that.
it has to
you
be a
can't
real
count
fully
those.
open world game, though.
Yeah, the one I landed on was Assassin's Creed because you technically don't die. You desynchronize with the world. And so you're
Oh,
just,
you only
Yeah.
die if you die in the
Yeah.
real world.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't actually
You
die
die
in
in the
Assassin's
dream
Creed.
world.
Or like
Yeah.
Prince of Persia where the lady keeps saving
Saying
you.
the same.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you can
yeah.
you can cheat it in that sense where it's like, oh, in a world where like you're
Yeah.
actually immortal.
So
because
yeah, this
nothing
works for
ever-
me because you're not just saying.
It's not specific.
I have a unique
game,
point
it's
about the
games in
protagonist of
general.
GTA 4. You're saying
Right.
all Rockstar games versus all Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
What open world?
I mean, if we could somehow do books or songs, like if someone had a pitch, I'd love that. But I can never think of a way to crack that. Jack was always trying to crack sports into After Hours time, so
Right.
there's no way. I also just want to say that I think the Purgatory episode only works similarly to the thing I said about dancing. If the characters themselves at the beginning go, but Purgatory is defined as very specifically this.
Yeah.
Not saying that's our religious belief, but for the sake of this argument.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be.
And so
It could be-
We
I'm
need to
wondering
solve that.
if we can solve that,
Yeah.
because I bet the examples would then come to mind
I
quickly.
think it's
Right.
a world where people are being punished for the sake of them learning a lesson to move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah. It's your.
To me, that's too. It
I
fits
think-
too many movies,
I
so
think
like
repi-
nothing becomes a really compelling argument.
I think repetition should be a factor in it. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be exactly repetitive, but it should be the idea. Like again, that's hard with.
Immortality should
Yeah,
also
because
be
it's
a
like, what's
factor.
the
Immortality.
purgatory movie?
You should
There isn't
like-
another one.
If you witness if the character dies at the end of the movie, I would argue then it can't be purgatory. Like I would also think immortality.
I think
Right.
it's
You have
to
have
movie
evidence
be trapped.
that
They have to
The
be
Purgatory
trapped in
movie
the
is
movie.
they have to be
Bond.
trapped, not able to
Yeah.
die, escape through death.
Yes.
So what? So how do you set that up as the criteria?
Well, we're saying in terms of repetitive as James Bond. I'm not.
yeah.
That would
Oh,
be
yeah.
an example of like a James Bond.
Yeah.
James Bond
James
is great
Bond,
because there's
yeah.
an argument that it's cyclical. He can't be killed, even though he should be by now.
Yeah.
And little as you know, all he needs to do is treat Moneypenny with respect.
Right,
like, yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
got some like
You just-
Dr.
yeah.
Parnassus thing where
Yeah.
like he keeps his appearance keeps changing.
Yeah.
seriously. It's a dream.
Yeah, James Bond is a great contender for Purgatory. Yeah, so that just crystallizes that for me. I think if we crystallize Purgatory for that,
Trapped.
it'll be a strong. Like being trapped, being on a loop, not being able to kill yourself to escape
Fast and
are all
Furious.
good things.
Fast and Furious.
That goes in the crime.
You know what?
That
the,
goes in the
the
underworld,
left.
yeah.
Well, the-
Yeah, I would want every argument also to be if a franchise is long enough, it must be
I
Purgatory.
want it to be Purgatory, and the lesson is that they have to learn they have to go faster and more
I have to go
furious.
faster.
It's never too fast, it's never too furious.
You gotta make up with Jason Statham, and you gotta be more
You gotta be
furious.
faster and more furious.
Because sometimes the title changes, but the number always goes up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the rule that they've learned.
You must
as
increase your
characters.
fastness and your
Shit!
furiousness.
This is 6. Does it stop? Do we end at 10? Because at first they were like, Tokyo Drift, what's this shit? And then it's Fast and Furious 3? Right?
Yeah.
And so they took a digression, but then, and like they just throw it up into the mix. Fast 5. Alright, we'll settle down, but 5, we land
Somebody mentioned Scott Pilgrim could be in Purgatory. I think that's probably a good argument.
I could see
No one saw it.
Scott.
I would argue.
Some people saw Scott.
Some people, yeah, but it's the lowest box office of any Edgar Wright, which I've
If we're going to
wanted.
talk about,
I also don't hear people talking about it much ever. Do other people?
it's,
I think it's
They
I
talk
think
more
it's
about Edgar
medium.
Wright.
it's in the internet.
Yeah.
And the corner.
But like, if I was gonna go right, I'd go
trilogies.
Shaun of the Dead.
I mean, I'd go Hot Fuzz. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go
Yeah,
Hot Fuzz as for personal taste, but
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Me too.
no, someone has to be the suit, and I'm trying to keep us zeitgeisty,
Yeah.
but I can be wrong.
I had from last time.
I love Scott Pilgrim.
I had the worst behind the scenes job in big franchises. Like people have to catalog Indiana Jones' bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Have
that was a
to
great pitch.
grow the Jurassic Park DNA, being the Pope and Marvel.
Did you see this?
Behind the scenes jobs and yeah,
And big
cinema.
franchises.
The name.
Pope and Marvel is
Oh,
great.
Oh, that's good.
Like, what is the?
Right,
She
because
gets-
there's gods.
Someone comes in and is like, Your Holiness, a Superman went into space, and then he says this is happening. All right, I'll just keep my faith very strong
Yeah.
and project that out.
That's-
Please stop telling me what the superpowered people are doing.
Yeah.
I gotta keep this up. I'm the head guy of this thing.
What was the job? That. Sorry, I was.
Being the Pope in the
In the
Marvel.
Marvel
Because,
Cinematic
yeah,
Universe.
also
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, here's Thor.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Okay.
Thor brings his talking raccoon friend, and you're
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
like, I'm trying. I have to like make proclamations about what we all believe, and you're throwing, oh, now there's a talking space raccoon. How does God feel about that? I gotta like figure that out.
Is there any room for like a new type of purgatory? Is the concept of the Jumanji box? Just because this passes along.
It definitely is. I feel like it explicitly
That's what-
is purgatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be too
Jumanji's a
close.
good
It's certainly the new video game version of it is.
Right, because they each learn a lesson appropriate to their job.
Yeah,
And, like,
exactly.
And they're all teenagers, and they have different bodies where they age up and like
Yeah.
get wiser.
Mhm.
I also
Yeah.
had cleaning the precogs and Metal Gear.
Because they're shitting in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
changing
Just a
the
sketch.
precogs
Watch
film.
it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for this.
These are all great, dude.
They have to do
The
that.
guy who gets Captain America up to speed on the Holocaust and the
Yes.
atomic bomb.
Yeah.
And words he
Yeah.
can't say anymore.
This actually makes me think of an episode format I always wanted to do that I think this would fit for, which is 25 little arguments.
Mhm.
Like, they're not, like, the characters
think
are
it's-
topping each other quick and
Yeah.
fast
Yeah,
and
yeah,
furious, I want to say,
Yeah.
with better and better ones, which would involve, like,
yeah.
a we all pitch to whoever's going to write this, because we could do a list of at least 50 of those.
For
to make
this
the
one? Oh,
funniest
for
ones.
sure.
The very last one I had written down was PTA meetings at Hogwarts.
Anything in administration at Hogwarts is a
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah.
In fact, we're gonna have to find non-administrative jobs
Yeah.
because they're so easy.
That was
they're so good.
the first two I actually wrote sketches for. We never did.
I love the
but they were
precog
funny.
one.
I've had.
I love
Indiana
stuff that it
Jones'
means like
intern.
there is work to be done, because it's a system that's already in
The only
developed.
tricky thing with that precogs thing is that we see the guy that does that job.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, yeah, that
Yeah.
creepy fuck.
Sort of.
Oh, you don't think he's cleaning them? I think he's cleaning them.
I don't
That
think-
son of a bitch is cleaning them.
Adam, I don't
Cleaning
think he's
like a
cleaning
monkey.
them.
Oh, I think he is. I think he's stroking
I
every
think
piece
he's-
of that
That's why
body.
no one is
Cleaning them.
stopping him from being there.
Yeah. I don't think like that
He's
man would
supposed to
tolerate
be
a
in the
different
tub.
person doing that
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. It's definitely true
Being the
that.
thug
All
in
right.
Marvel. Yeah.
Even if there's more pitches out there, save them for next time because this will be an ongoing process.
Yeah, I get
But for the time, I want to move us along to, because what we should really do is now narrow it down to two that seem like the best bet for the first shoot, and flesh those out. What are the arguments going to be, and assign the writer. Which I will read the list now for that purpose. So, that Joker actually represents order and Batman represents chaos. Which reboot would you like to exist within, or have your life story rebooted as? Criminal underworlds in various franchises. Which is the most blank? I guess which would you want to be in and why?
Yeah.
Which TV trope that everyone hates would you actually like because it would benefit your life in X way? Cinematic universes that are really like parallel dimensions that XYZ characters should be in. Carrie should be in X-Men. Chris Nolan is a bad filmmaker and Shyamalan's a good filmmaker, or just Chris Nolan's a bad filmmaker if we want it to be a real essay piece. Shows that are purgatory, which I like, but I still think could be pushed to the next like development phase.
Sure.
The dancing timeline, I would not think it's so specific.
You
I
should
don't want
start
it for
with
the first two.
dancing timeline.
Right out of the
Pretty
gate, the
good.
dancing.
No, 'cause
Hit him
if-
with the dancing
Yeah.
verse.
Shared timelines
All
are
8
great.
episodes dancing.
Pixar Shared Universe is, of course, one of the indelible episodes of After Hours. But I don't know that people care about Ted Danson, the actor, as much as the Pixar universe.
They're paying him $60,000 an episode, Jerry. 60.
Yeah. Oh, he's also in King of the Hill. Anyway.
Yeah.
Who's the worst one in Frasier? Who's the worst character that you were obviously at the time supposed to really fall in love with? JD, Ted Mosby, Sheldon, Chandler.
Oh yeah.
Kramer.
Yeah.
Which will they, won't they? Which
Should
famous
they?
will they, won't they would
Should
be the
they?
worst
Yeah.
20 years later if they
Yeah.
got together. Fixing famous bombs, which I feel like needs more examples.
Yeah.
And for the sake of time, maybe it could be pushed to the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
development phase. Which open world game would you most like to live in? And
If
behind,
you can't die.
if you only
Had
get one life.
Yeah.
And behind the scenes jobs in cinema. So sorry, there's like 9 good ones, which is a good problem, but that's probably hard to keep in your head all at
I think
once.
yeah.
Reboots obviously a very strong
Reboots,
contender.
Well, I think we'll do it just like we normally do it, which is the obviously the author of the basic kernel of the idea who cracked the chestnut
Can
gets
take dibs.
But if they want to pass it on, or because of work situations, we should, if we want to, we can identify which ones are automatic right now,
Right.
if we want to, or this can be an offline, and then the rest of them can be
Also-
offline, like emails.
Also, I have to write one for budget because it'll be free if I write it, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And After Hours is too much research to not. So we're paying people to write the scripts who aren't Abe and I should write one of these two. So I think everyone's pretty agreed that reboots we found a good angle on and it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do people just have a favorite that you're like, that's a hit record for episode 2?
That's a platinum.
I do, but I don't want to go
Disney
first.
reboots one, right?
It's probably the first episode.
Right. So
Not
it
just
was-
Disney reboots, but it's
For second,
I think
You're
we
talking
agree, I
about
think we
second?
agree on reboots.
we agree on
We
that.
agree on
Yeah.
reboots.
I
Now
would
we're just
say-
saying like favorite concept that we feel is the closest
I
to
think
done
for,
and
like,
ready to go. You know?
a good, like a
For a
well-rounded,
good time.
like, because the first one's a good like introduction and
And meta one. Yeah.
right. I would think the one you were saying that's rapid fire. That's the worst jobs, the Indiana Jones thing, like something like that. That's pretty.
That's pretty classic.
Yeah.
After Hours.
That one's
yeah.
Because I'm thinking like something that's just getting people comfortable. with
That
it.
one calls out to me. Cinematic universes that secretly should have one extra film calls out to me. And so does Criminal Underworlds in various franchises.
Yeah.
And so does Joker Batman, only because it's fucking true, dude. People love Batman. Like,
They do.
people ask me what I learned in my time at Cracks, and I'm like,
People fucking
put
love
Batman in the
Batman.
title
Yeah.
of your thing.
Batman did.
Yeah, just Batman.
Batman.
And Disney is the other one that
Disney or
rivals.
sex in general.
And then, yeah, and
Yeah.
porn.
And sexy.
But man, it's crazy that.
Dan's calling out Nolan for episode 3.
For the Prestige.
Oh, thanks.
For the third episode.
Yeah.
The third episode.
I think that Nolan episode's great, but it's so if it only wants to focus on Nolan, then people who don't care about
No,
Nolan
sure.
won't. You know what I
But
mean?
that is
But that we'll make that.
those are good for later ones where it's like, okay, we've established like what we're
Agreed.
doing. Let's
now we can
dig
get
in.
We
more
just-
compartmentalized.
I can
Yeah.
wait, Dave.
We just got
I
a
can
bunch
wait
of
on the
random
Nolan
people to
first.
give us money, so we feel like the first two should be like, it's exactly what you expected.
Yeah.
Then we can do. We
I
can
will
open
say,
up.
if you want to do the behind the scenes jobs one, I would super like to write that one.
Awesome.
So
That's
if
good.
we can't do it this round because you've got to write one.
Oh, I
Dave's pitch is the other.
think basically
Is mine the
everything
other
you
one?
said. Will,
Yeah, yours is the
See,
reboot one. Yeah.
I thought that.
Or was
the
that?
video game universe? Is what?
Oh,
it
the
is?
reboots one.
The
That
reboot
was
one.
The
yeah,
reboots
I
one,
guess,
yeah.
So I didn't want to.
Wait, Reboots is yours?
I thought it was sort of. I had
It was
a
kinda-
reboot
it was
pitch,
one of the ones-
but it was kind of the ones that like came together.
Came together.
Yeah.
If I remember it correctly.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
I'm not against writing it. I'm just,
And I was just trying to, like, because it's not cracked and you're not all salaried employees, I think we will have to be more flexible than like,
How much
yes,
ti-
you
how many
can
do you
get
wanna
dibs,
write?
but if you don't have time to write it and you're not precious about
It
it,
would depend on
let
when.
me or Abe
Yeah.
write it so
Yeah.
it can get written fast.
That's the
yeah.
thing. Is like, yeah.
I
Like, I don't think people can have as much ownership as they have when they're like salaried, cracked employees.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna take anyone's script away that they're like, I really want that one. We could just save it for the next two.
Yeah.
So my question to you, Tom, is: we all think that would be a good candidate for episode 2. Could you write it, like, soon, soonish? These take a while to write, but
Yeah. It depends on. Do we need to have the conversation on camera?
No.
I guess not. But well,
That's an email offline.
That is definitely.
No,
that's why I'm
well,
like
I wanna
hesitant,
have it
'cause
decided
depends on
tonight.
When would you
timeline.
need it?
yeah, I guess we can do it after the stream, but I just want to do it in person before people leave.
Mhm.
No, the question. Yeah. I guess I was getting at is if you say I definitely want to write that one, but not yet,
No,
then
I-
that
I-
would put it in the next batch, which is also.
I
Fine.
just didn't want to step over anybody else since I know
Right,
I
right,
didn't want
you
to
guys have
step
to
over
write.
Dave.
I don't want to step over.
What's
I didn't want to step over Dave.
what's wrong with me?
Nothing's wrong with you.
That's the only reason
A lot
I
of
think
things are
so,
right
because
with
I would really like to write that
Oh.
one, but I didn't want to mess
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
process. Since
No,
you
no.
guys have to write one, and the other one, I was just coming from the reboot one being
Right.
Dave's pitch.
So then my
I
question
definitely
would be.
want to write one or two at some point.
It also doesn't hurt
or
if we
a
get 3
million.
scripts going right
It's
now.
more
Yeah.
just like.
No,
Yeah.
we'll all be ready.
We'll need.
Yeah, that's the thing is,
ultimately.
I basically I can start anything next week, so that's why I was like,
Yeah, that's
like, and if you're
that
saying
makes
one
sense,
of you
yeah.
has to write one and then someone else should write one, then I'm more than happy to say one of you guys do the reboot.
Here's what I'm. Here's
because
what I'm
also,
actually saying. Is,
I think it's better for one of you guys
To
to
set the
do
tone.
yeah, exactly to do the first episode.
I think one of us needs to write one for multiple reasons, or like the company wants one assigned to us, and I didn't really pitch anything that is good enough to be the same. So that's what I'm saying. Who will give up their idea to be written?
Yeah,
by
I'm
me?
I'm happy to be here.
I'll do a
Like,
good job. with
I
it.
know I'll
But pick the second episode that you want.
Well, I could do the Joker Batman one easily, but I want to respect that that I pitched that and then said I think it could work, but it's not like everyone like lit up.
I mean,
That's what I mean is I don't want to take Disney reboots away, but someone needs to write Disney reboots, and I should probably write one of the first 2.
Exactly, and you should probably
Yeah.
write the first. If
Yeah.
I'm excited about the idea that should be the first episode.
So you're okay with me writing
Yeah,
reboots?
that's what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying that I'm.
But you also
excited
said
about
you
it.
want.
I'm
you
saying
can
in the
start
future.
on one now.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know which one you want to start on?
I don't know which ones. Which of
Um,
the ones that I was pitching interest people?
I don't remember who pitched what. But
you should
open world
do
games I like.
You should do the.
Will they, won't they's I
the
like.
move over the if they went to a different universe one.
Yeah,
I don't
Carrie,
think that was mine. was it?
Carrie and X-Men was.
Oh, Carrie and X-Men. Yeah,
Like
I mean,
we
I
did
can.
that.
I also think.
If no one
Yeah, I
else
guess my
wants
point is
that,
I don't
I can
care
do
whose was what. As long, except for people saying that was mine and I want to write it. I want to respect that.
Yeah, exactly.
But other than that, I don't care.
Mhm.
I kind of
Yeah.
went into this with the reboot thing, thinking that's a great first episode, and also thinking that should be written by someone
Okay,
who's
cool.
not me, because it's the first episode.
Then do you want to do the franchises that should have one other famous movie within them?
That's
I-
the Carrie X-Men one?
is the quintessential example we landed on. I could
Yeah.
also see you doing the will they, won't they's, which one's the worst,
I
ultimately.
would avoid that one because I don't know.
And again, I don't remember who pitched it. If they want
Yeah,
to
that
speak
wasn't
up.
mine, and that wasn't.
Well, I said something that got us on the track.
Yeah,
When
it
we got
evolves.
there, it evolved.
Yeah.
But it started off with, I forget, it was something about we were breaking into Friends
Um,
and Cheers and we were talking.
Or if you want to write the open world games one, you had a handle on that. It would
That
just.
feels like a later one.
It feels like an episode 6 or 7.
I mean,
so,
I'm happy to
yeah.
do the Carrie X-Men one as long as
Okay.
as long as people are cool with that.
Did you want to be assigned something immediately?
I'll take something on.
I
But
think
then you don't have
but
the
it-
pressure because
I-
you can't
I
do
would-
It
it
can't be
too.
two, because I can't.
No,
get that
it's
done.
not. That's what I
My
think.
vote's for you doing the Underworld one. 'cause
The
I
crime
think-
one?
I
Yeah,
think so.
I think that's
I
gonna
agree.
be-
That's a hit record.
Yeah.
You
I
can't
would-
tell me your feet ain't moving.
I would probably want to get some pitches
So,
from you guys on
this
that.
is what I was gonna say. Is
Yeah.
Okay.
this meeting's not over because I do think, but you probably got to go.
I should probably go.
And so we will
And
disband
we'll stop
in the
this
next
soon.
8 minutes because
Yeah.
it's about to be 10. But I wanted to say, this is not over to the people who are following Off Hours
Not
Developments
over.
and you guys. Next step in the process would be, please don't just like go away and write a script in a cave and come back because it is very enriching, I think, for people to get the pitches from the whole room. That's the whole
Mhm.
point. After Hours really thrived on the script going through many, many layers of editing,
Right,
and I
right.
want to try and emulate that. So, next step would be send an email with your like, this is the one I said I was going to do. Here's the actors I am thinking of including, what their argument type would be, and what movie, or whatever, what their answer is.
Yeah.
Outline of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that other people can go, and let's make that like one thread per episode.
Sure.
So we can all chime in and go like, well, here's all my ideas that work for Tom's. Take or discard as you craft. Here's all my ideas that work for Dave's. Yep. And then you can start scripting. That's
Great.
all I wanted to say.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool.
Do it then.
So next phase will be on email. If you are a patron of Small Beans, patreon.com/smallbeans, we'll probably end up posting those outlines because we really want it to be like an open source process.
Sure.
Is part of the appeal here.
Then they'll be less explicit
You should just
genital
link them all
photos than I
into
would
the
normally
email.
send.
But YouTube people, and I reserve the right to not post them all because
Put them in
if I don't want people to
It's
feel.
true.
Please do not write out your outlines as if you're like, entertaining an audience. A normal outline is fine.
They'll just be less nude selfies in it.
Yeah.
For me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always
Um,
include those in the margins.
Yeah, but as far as our YouTube only audience, the next time you'll see us will probably be the finished episode posting and then another writing session sometime after that.
Yeah.
Because the rest will be handled via email.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not true. We'll have a meeting where we read the episodes, come up with cartoon ideas, decide who should draw which cartoon.
If you guys want to be involved,
That
in
will be a live stream
Yeah,
as well.
we'll determine if it's a live stream depending on who's available. And
I love.
But this is explicitly the writing team, meaning
Yeah.
everything's optional, of course. I'll invite all our friends and whoever comes.
and
will
then
be there.
we'll stream or
Yeah.
will not, and hopefully we will.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
that. We have 6 minutes. Can I ask for a quick scan of comments? Is there anything top of scan that's worth? If you have like questions that are actually relevant, instead of just jokes,
Not
which are also
bullshit.
great.
Yeah, a question that pleases.
No, I
me.
just mean like right now we're paying attention to the top
Yeah,
of the stream.
that's true, yeah.
And you have 6 minutes, so if there's like a sweeping question that's actually, oh, we should answer that.
Nova
We'll do it.
Caesar asks, "Does cane sugar hurt?" Don't know. Don't know. Don't know what that's.
I don't know. It could be in reference to our No Country episode today, where I made a bad Anton sugar cane sugar.
Oh, I
pun.
liked that.
Thank you. Thank you very kindly.
I always started with it because it's fucking 2 hours long, and I'm very delated by it.
Where?
Oh, thanks, Dan.
Oh, you're just saying, here you go.
Say
Is
it
it
out
bottom
loud,
is
I
newest
can't-
to top?
Bottom.
Daniel just said love you guys.
Gross.
Miss
Daniel, we
you.
love you very much. Thank you. I'm sorry I've been a poor
Miss
correspondent, but we're
you.
busy. I know you are too. Thank you so much. Your support was instrumental in getting to do this. And also in me getting literal, credible death threats sent privately of people who say, I love
Okay.
you. I love the show you're a part of. Fuck you for not getting Dan O'Brien. I'll find you and kill you. So people miss you.
So
dude.
if you're
In
a
fairness,
$100
that's-
patron, you'll have access to those death threats.
That's the point of that story.
Yeah, and if you're someone who's not chubby cis white male that wants to join our
Right.
writing team, that would be cool.
That'd be
I
very
asked a
helpful.
lot
Just
of
being
people.
chub-free would be
This is
somewhat
who
diverse.
came.
This is who showed up to the game. Our little
Tom's our
spinning wheel
token thin
friend.
guy.
Yeah.
Grow a shaggy beard, motherfucker. You don't
I
play
need
that.
to-
We also do intramural frisbee on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Just the five of us.
Just us.
So,
Oh, Christ.
Frito Skeeto.
When was the
no
last time we
absolutely
played
never.
Ultimate Frisbee?
I don't fucking
man,
remember.
It's been a minute.
We have done it.
Last but not
Sure.
least, 2 fans sent spec scripts, which I
Aw.
didn't want to discuss
Oh,
on
that's fun.
stream because I have not read them, but I didn't want to lie. And what if they suck? That would be mean to do.
Right.
I'm not saying they do because I haven't read them, but I'll send them to everyone
Oh, cool.
on the off chance that we're like, this idea is great. Let's
Yeah.
take it and redo
If
it.
you're a $500 patron, you can say whether they suck or not. We'll
Yeah.
post it.
Yeah. If you're a $5,000 patron,
Yeah.
we'll just shoot your script,
Yeah.
whatever you wrote,
Yeah.
and send it to you. That'll work too.
Not one man bun, they said.
Just for one.
Not
person.
one man, but you don't know what's under Abe and my hats.
Mike,
It's
Dan,
just a
Dan
smaller
says the last time we
crack.
played Ultimate Frisbee was when we ruined Michael's birthday.
Was that our
That
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
That
it
great,
was.
though.
Yeah.
We did
of
do
course.
that.
Of course, Dan, you would write that we ruined Michael.
So next birthday, Nerf War.
Yeah.
All the Bay Area, New York people versus all the people who are still in LA will meet in Kansas City.
It's
Nice.
Nerf War, June 7th.
Good place to do it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're a
Thanks for
$10,000
joining us,
patron-
everyone. That's that.
All right. Let's end the stream.
Yay!
You
Bye,
had-
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Contact.
Go to
Thanks
OBS.
for watching.
Stop streaming.